it is 9:30. We are all here. Well, our quorum is here, so it's missing, but that was the plan. So let's go let's look at the agenda. And if there is a motion to approve the agenda, or if there's any suggested change.
I'll put forth a motion that we approve the agenda as submitted.
Okay, is there a second? All right, Maureen, that's a motion, Julie, second. And all in favor? Unanimous, okay. All right, so moving on to approval of the board minutes. And I'm going to apologize right now in advance. I did not make the cutoff of time to get suggestions to you, Candy. And it's just a lot of scheduling that's been going on with me. So, but I do have just a couple of quick things, if it's okay. On the old business, under A, if you'll just go ahead and fix Jeff Gallagher's spelling his name.
Just a second.
Yes.
Under old business A.
5A.
Thank you.
So in the bolded section where you have Maureen McQuinn moved to insert number 7, your motion was seconded by Jeffrey Gallagher. Just correct the spelling of G-A-L-L-A-H.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. How about if I show you?
Well, I think we all need to hear it. So if you'd speak up just a little, that would be helpful.
Yes. Where it's bolded,
Okay.
where you see Jeff's name, Gallagher is H-E-R, not A-R.
Thank you.
And items from staff, number 7A, which is right underneath this. What I noticed is, Candy, your original draft did include the language of what was read to us, and Brittany removed it, and it's completely understandable to do that. But don't you think we might want to add a copy of it as an attachment to these minutes? Because you know where else is that document public record then? Because it was just read aloud, but no paper trail. Can we just say attached is a copy of the proposal that was emailed after the meeting?
Well, it's not really a set policy. It was more just kind of like guidelines for us to be able to support committee meetings in the way that works best for you all and for the House. So that's why it's not included in public information. It's not like a adopted policy of any kind. It's just kind of, I wanted to get it written down so everybody could see it after the meeting and make sure that they all understood, what we're moving forward with and have an opportunity to provide feedback. But I don't think it necessarily needs to be public record. It's not like an adopted policy or an amendment to anything. It's just kind of a procedure.
I leave that to the board. I think that I understand that, and that's your explanations didn't make sense.
Did we get an email of those?
Yeah, I sent it. I think it was after the same day as the
Okay.
meeting.
I just need to print it off and put it
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I'll leave that to the board to decide that. That's just something I thought I'd bring up in case we want
Yeah,
to.
I think it's fine to leave it out.
So it's not a set, but it's still a guidance.
It's just guidelines then. It's not a
Yeah.
policy.
Well, she had it.
Okay.
But I wanted it written out so
Yeah.
that everybody could
Yeah.
knew what it was
Yeah.
moving forward.
That makes sense. Yeah. In the
Seven.
Faulty, I might suggest adding after the very first sentence where it stops at place, I might suggest adding for the next meeting. So that makes a little sense. And then faulty, committee chair carries the reach out to the committee, set a date, time, and place for the next meeting.
Oh,
After this sentence. wants time and place for the next meeting.
And thereafter, right at holiday decorating, I would suggest adding the words committee meeting before the word date to be set later after gathering. It's a little ambiguous as it reads right now, holiday decorating, date to be set later after gathering more information about the habitat plan. Which date are we talking about? A date to decorate or a date for the committee meeting? And then under this circumstance, it's the date for the committee meeting. So I think committee meeting, date to be set. Just adding those two words in front, that clarifies it. My last question is that I know it's the packet and we're just trying to condense information, but this additional information regarding money code that is going to be reviewed today, that is not part of the minutes.
No, it's not.
Okay. All right. That's everything I have, if that's acceptable. Is there?
I move that we accept the minutes as amended.
Thank you.
I'll second.
And Maureen seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Now, unanimous. Thank you. All right. Let's move on to public invited to be heard. Right now, we don't have anyone, except we do have a special plan, and that's regarding requesters.
I'm just changing my hat. So, as vice chair of the Questers, I am submitting our check to the Callahan House for the table and chairs restoration. The check is $3,200. That is submitted for the restoration of the table and chairs at this time.
Thank you, Maureen. And we're just so grateful for the Questers and their support, all through history and ongoing, and the beautiful work the Questers do. And so this means so very much, and it definitely gets us on our way with the table and chairs and the buffet and the side serving table later. So this is excellent. Thank you.
And just as a side note, the serving table is also listed as Connie Buswell's state project, so we will be funding that as well. In addition, I'm writing an additional grant to the International to continue and finish and complete this project for the site board.
You all are wonderful. Thank you.
Are you referring to this piece over here?
That table is is under the precedence that is going to be paid for. This is an additional grant that I'm writing for because we had to break up the pieces. The cost was just
So you're calling that a serving table?
serving table.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you.
It's very generous.
Awesome.
Very excited about this, and the ladies worked very hard. We had a garage sale for several days that helped come up with half of the funding. So
You
we
are
had to put it
amazing.
to an additional thing. So, but the Questers are very excited about it and believe that this house is such a jewel. So.
Thank you. And please let them know we say thank you. And I think, Candy, it's appropriate to go ahead and write a thank you note to them as well, right? Okay. And you'll be
Maureen,
able
will
to
you
do
get
that?
me addresses? Who to send it to?
Sure.
Okay. And so now, we'll go ahead and move on to old business. And first is the digitized scrapbook.
Okay.
Maureen, you have the floor.
So the digitized scrapbook, we met yesterday, and in going through this, and from the first time we met, we decided that we'd be best if we had a policy in place exactly how we're going to move forward on the next books. So we from going and moving forward instead of just jumping in to have a defined procedure on how we're going to do this. So that's what we worked on yesterday.
And start to hand these out. I think I just got enough for the board members and Brittany. If that's okay.
And so this is what we have put forth for the board's approval on how we should archive and move forward with the project. We have gone through the scripts But it goes into much more detail on how we should go about doing this per page. One of the confusion parts when we first met is which page was which, because their definition of meaning the Longmont Public Media's definition of what the page numbers were and what we were working on were by counting the pages and going that way. So we are going off of what was the suggested practice by Eric Mason of the museum to, and if you read this, it is very in-depth. This is for anybody that looks at, this is a procedure that I would like to have approved that we put into our books as a historian. This is what people would be going based off of, doing any additional scrapbooks, because this isn't going to be our only one. We've got 13 that we've got to save, and or I shouldn't say got to, where it would be ideal to save, and would be the practice that we'd like to move forward with. So then we have a comprehensive plan, and so then when we take this script, and again we're moving forward. When we take this script, we're going to do a hybrid of this script based off of this, and then the overall goal is to have it all meet and mix. Let's face it, times are electronically ahead and moving fast, and so this gives us the opportunity to look at the overall, what we're achieving with this is not only just to meet the needs of people that are have hearing issues or visual issues. We could actually look at this from the overall bigger picture of this could work for school children, this could work for all sorts of things, and so this is the procedure that I submit before the board to review to see if we can approve this and put this in place.
Would you like that review and approval today, or would you like everyone to review this and have approval at a later time or date?
I submit it to the board's opinion if they feel like they need more time to review this, because I know this has just been handed to you. So if you choose to want to read through this more thoroughly and approve this for the next meeting, that's fine too. But if you can peruse it and think that this makes sense, you can approve it at this point.
My thought is, they have put a lot of effort and time into this. It looks very comprehensive. I would trust that they've been very thorough about everything. And so my thought would be to go ahead and act on it today.
Thank you, Candy. I appreciate that.
So
Is there a motion?
I move that we accept the guidelines for the scrapbook.
I just have a couple questions for clarity, sorry, before you, just to make sure I understand. So you're talking about an audio visual, I know we talked about this a little bit yesterday, an audio visual version. So you're wanting LPM to provide, they're gonna do the scripts, which then get reviewed and finalized by the board.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want their final output to be an audio tour with the visuals of each page along with the tour, correct?
That it can be that. It doesn't just stop at an audio tour.
Yeah.
It stops as an overlay.
So
to us.
instead
It
of like
continues with an
the
overlay.
scanned pages,
Right.
it would just be the one thing that's an audio visual tour so people can
Yeah.
experience it in both ways. Okay.
Yeah, so it's for both.
Yeah.
It really is more.
We're looking at
universal use.
a larger scope. Well, if we were sitting down and looking at this, what was our overall goals of what we wanted to achieve? And the overall goal is to make this accessible for anybody, and that's really what the goal is.
Mhm.
Now,
I think this really captures it quite well.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, so just pros and cons. I don't think there's any issue with having them together. With the scans on the website, people can kind of engage with it at their own pace
which
and read through.
So
So if you're on like a video, you're kind of at the pace of the video, which may or may not be an issue, but just things to think about.
to clarify, we would like to have 3. You can do it just by audio. You could just look at it visually and not do the audio and visual. or you could do the overall combined.
Okay, so we do still want the PDF scans
Correct.
plus an audio-visual
Yes.
option, keeping in mind that the point of the audio-visual initially was audio.
Yes.
So it needs to be, like, that needs to be the basis of it, to where
Yes.
it can be engaged in, where you don't feel like you're missing out on the
Correct.
visual.
So we have 3 separate versions listed here. We have the visual version of the scrapbook, the audio version of the scrapbook, and then the combined.
I think, I'm wondering if the
They're
audio
different
visual
versions.
is one thing, people can listen to it, you know, just the audio. I imagine they wouldn't do like a separate audio only and an audio visual.
Perhaps not,
So I think, yeah.
be necessary.
I would
at all,
refer to their
right?
expertise on
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
But as long as the audio visual is focusing on the audio, you know, where the visual is also kind of there, but
Complementing it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's basically what.
Okay, I just want to understand what
Yeah,
the goal is.
That's the overall, you got it. You got
Okay.
exactly what we're going for. And so we wanted to cover all our bases while we were doing this, and we had again, numbering the pages and looking at each book with the light pencil, exactly as Eric stated that we should do. So then when we're doing a description, we can say, this is picture A, describe it, B, C, or article, or napkin, or place card. You know how these scrapbooks are set up.
Mhm.
So then we have them lettered alphabetically along the page. Then we can move forward to the page. But it's done in a very systematic way. So therefore, moving forward, the procedure will not change. It will be smooth across the board. And then we state right here that eventually, once we are done with these books, we'd like to be able to submit them to Longmont Museum. But we've stated that, but we've never written it down anywhere. And I think this is one of those things, like we've done a procedure for the getting donations and everything. This is very much kind of where we're going.
Yeah, no, that all sounds good. My only point of clarification is, so like, for example, the PDF that was provided to this committee at the beginning of this project with the numbering of the pages that needed the alt text, or the pieces of pages that needed the alt text. So I think it does make sense to go through the scrapbooks and number them archivally. There's still going to be that output from the scan that tells us what elements of it need to have the alt text. So you're still going to end up with that, you know, document that says these are the elements of it that need the alt text. Just so that, you know, clarification is there.
Which is exactly, I
And it's not
understand
going to be
that.
all of the elements.
Yeah,
right? So
and
we still need to match those
we
up.
are
Okay.
going to move forward. It's just with that we are, but
That's
it just came to the point where I'm like, let's get a better procedure
Sure,
on
yeah.
this, and so this is what we've been working on.
So this could be titled procedures for Callahan House scrapbooks.
Yes, we can put,
Correct.
yes, we can
Cover.
just put a procedure at the end of it, Callahan House scrapbooks, audiovisual procedures.
And I think, does it talk about the scanning?
Yes.
Who's doing the scanning? Who's going to be responsible for the scanning?
No, we didn't
We
state
didn't
who
talk about
that.
that, but I think that does fall to the committee, because along with the committee
It should
doing
be the
the
committee.
labeling,
We should be, yeah,
then
that's exactly it.
we're aware of what needs to be scanned and how.
And once we get this book up and running, but this gave me a better idea, a better feeling on exactly how to move forward. And again, if by direction of the board, if this is approved, this is like going, okay, I feel more comfortable than doing,
Yeah.
just believing that this is the way it should be done rather than.
Okay, so in the first section, number 2, each scrapbook will be electronically scanned by committee members.
Okay.
Making that just
So
we
that
know
should be
who's-
changed. Okay.
who's doing what.
By committee meeting.
And then the other piece is going to be that I think I need to do, probably with Ian, or after, you know, he's provided some guidance with this, but once the scan is available, it has to go through the process in Adobe to then output like what elements need the alt text.
Okay.
So does the committee want to be in charge of that with some training, or?
Yes.
Okay,
So we need to add that in.
yeah.
So this is why I was like, okay, and it would be, ideally, it would be nice to meet with public media so I know exactly what their expectations are. I want a clear understanding what I'm.
Those are the two things listed at the bottom, what we
That's what I-
need from Brittany.
So this says email the electronic copy of the scanned pages of the scrapbook to the committee, but if you all are
We will be
doing
doing a
the
new one.
scanning.
However, having that will help us understand what you scanned and how you scanned, and
But
then
are
we'll
you
go
doing
from
the
there.
scanning, or?
We will be
Okay,
doing
so
the
then
scanning,
you'll
but-
have-
But what you currently have already scanned in
Uh-huh,
is an electronic format.
right.
Will you just share that with the committee so that we have that as something to reference and say,
Because
okay,
all I-
because
Talking
we're
about
going to
just
be
for the
identifying
first one?
pages.
Yes,
on
for just the
Yeah,
first one.
Yeah, so that's, it's been shared a few times. I can share it again.
An
But-
electronic version that's,
I can't find it anywhere,
Okay.
Brittany.
If you-
And if
if
I've
you-
lost it, I
Okay.
apologize.
That's fine.
But all I have is the script.
So, but this is like a more of a to-do now as opposed to part of the procedure moving
correct.
forward.
right.
Okay,
Correct.
This last
So-
two is just what we need to do now. So it's that, and then to schedule a meeting with Longmont Public Media so
Okay.
that the committee can discuss and talk about how that will
So
work.
we should then, okay, with the corrections made, we should resubmit it for approval, final approval of the board next month.
I mean, I think we can do it now, there's just a
Yeah.
couple, the only other thing would be to clarify that like, you all are doing the scanning, you're creating the PDF,
Yes.
you're going to learn the process to get the output for what alt text needs to be, like, you're creating the alt text.
Right.
Okay, so that's the only piece I think that's missing is that, like, you're preparing the digital
Right.
version and doing the alt text process.
Right.
Okay, I don't think that, I think the alt text part needs to be added somewhere, unless I'm missing it.
Do you think, do we have it correct in that when the pages are scanned and they're provided to Longmont Public Media, they are submitting them to AI to produce a script or scripts, and then based on that, there's what we may call alt text or missing information that AI did not catch in
Those,
that
so
process.
those are two
that-
separate processes.
And then, so
So-
the alt text is then,
For those.
It's done
pages.
via, Adobe, so, which, I don't know, I mean, depending on if you have access to these programs, but, you'll scan in the full scrapbook, provide that to LPM to create the script. The other part of that process is for the PDFs that are gonna be uploaded to the website, have to have alt text in whatever way Adobe, in whatever sections Adobe tells us those need to be. So that's the part that I was doing, like with Ian Belter. Just to put that into Adobe Pro. I don't know if it might be available in other versions. I can look into that, but you put it in there
That's
basically,
exactly
and then
it.
it gives you an output of
I
like
don't
this
know.
image needs alt text.
so that may be something that we'll need your help with that small transition of, okay, however you have taken that before and put that in through Adobe.
Yeah, and then I can provide you,
And then
say
you can
these
say,
elements
okay,
need
yeah,
alt text, and
yeah.
you create the alt text.
Right,
Because
that's probably a way to do that, right?
Yeah.
I don't have Adobe. That could be part of the issue.
Okay.
So maybe that's what you change at the bottom of what you need from the house manager
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just
Right,
need
not-
that kind of like alt text output.
instead of or remove these two now that you know. Those
Yeah,
are the
those
things
are
we
just
need
like
from
current
there.
to-dos. Okay, so yeah, I think that's, I don't know where you want that.
So
Part
are
of
you
the
saying you
process, but-
don't want this in here right now?
I mean, if
We need to change it.
yeah, these are just like some to-dos for me, but they're not gonna be part of the procedure moving forward. But it will be, I guess.
Do you think
Is it
that-
for the visual?
Do you think it is a bit of a standalone? Do you think it's more appropriate to put
It's
it in the
the
visual
visual,
version?
yeah.
So as a number 5.
Yeah, it's gonna be the last part of that. So basically, you'll provide me with the scans.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will. Let me write something out and then we can.
So yeah, if you're.
So yeah, just house manager will upload the visual scans into Adobe to get an alt text output that then I'll share back with the board to create the alt text.
To the committee.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
That's perfect. That's added on to number 5. So
Wonderful.
with those changes, being Callahan House scrapbooks, audiovisual procedures, and adding at number 2 by committee members at the end of that sentence, and then adding behind at sentence 3 or number 3, add at the end of that with training from Brittany, and then adding a number 5 as Brittany's written. And are those the only other additions or
Should,
changes you need to make?
instead of Brittany, shouldn't we say house manager? So
Brittany and house manager.
with,
No, she'll be here forever.
yeah, I was gonna say, as much as we'd like to lock her in.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Okay, we can do that.
So I'm sorry, number 2 is each scrapbook will be electronically scanned by committee members. And did you say there was a change to number 3?
Yes,
Yes,
we're only adding at the end of that sentence
with training.
with training from the house manager. Because we will need to know how
I don't
needs to be
understand.
electronically saved
Okay.
appropriately.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'll do.
I don't know that that's here, like the training isn't necessarily moving forward, but we do need to set up a training so you know how to get to archives and set up an appointment and scan, so. So I don't think that's part of this, but I think as part of the like current to-dos would be to train the committee how to scan and create an electronic
Okay,
copy.
so that's a to-do now, rather
Yeah.
than a,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
all right. So that's just down here. And then 5 is the sentence you added regarding all text. Okay, so with those additions.
So we ready to
do we
amend
have-
the
yeah,
motion?
Yeah.
I would like to amend my motion to reflect that we approve the Callahan House scrapbook audiovisual procedures with the corrections and additions.
Additions, and, yeah, with additions, because there were additions. Okay. Do we have a second? Okay, so Andy moved, and Diana second, and all in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Oh, I'm
Well,
sorry.
I don't think it's
Pause
just
for
on
a
this,
minute.
but we're stating here that these scrapbooks will be turned over to the museum.
Okay.
Does that need any type of a board directive and approval to turn this over to the museum?
I think we would officially do that in a board meeting,
Right.
before they would be.
So somebody will do that. We'll-
Yes.
Okay. just-
It would be approved by the board
It's not
in a
something
specific
that we-
time, then it would
Which
just be,
Was that something we actually approved before we figured out how to do all this?
We talked about it previously, about how important
Yeah.
it was to go
Several
ahead
times.
and properly keep them secure and safe, and our museum archive was the answer, so.
And is the museum aware of our intention of that?
We have not reached out to them yet.
Okay.
Would you prefer we do that, or would you prefer you do that? How would you like to proceed with that?
I'll do that.
I feel like we did this years ago. Gave them something. I really do. So when you're inquiring, see if they have some of our stuff.
They've got some photos, they've got some stuff.
they've got
Yeah,
Callahan
they have
and
Yeah,
stuff.
they've got stuff, so we just.
We're just
wanna make
asking
sure that
them to
they
take
want to keep it
scrapbooks when we're
physical
done.
scrapbooks, yeah.
And our.
Yeah, but they've got photos, I'm sure they am.
Okay, so that they're
Professionally.
physically-
So, yeah, okay, so that's gonna be like a to-do, is it's just to let them know our intention for future and see what their process is for accepting those items.
Because it can still be a while, given how many
Yeah.
books don't have
Yeah,
them.
or if they want to accept them in a chunk or sort of.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Seeing that we've got so many, but it's a little overwhelming without this. So I thought, okay, let's get something we actually discussed, and this would just clarifies things so much better. So
So Jeff, thank you for the question. That was
Thank
very
you.
helpful and important stuff. And so is there any other question or concern or discussion before we take our vote? No. Okay, so we have the motion, we have the second, a discussion, in agreement?
I
Okay, that unanimously passes. We can move on to patrons of Callahan House. So where we left off with that is, first off, we will need to set the next committee meeting. But we were also hoping to have some update from you then.
I do. Okay, two things. We cannot do what the museum does because that is through Friends, which is their 501. It's their entire thing. The city cannot operate through something like that. So you can't do that. I will also say that you guys went in and tried to do this. It was 3 days after we started a blunt force attack on our system. So guest was turned off at that time, for example. We were fighting off thousands and thousands of account creation opportunities. And so that's what was happening during that time. So at this point, sign in, that works. Guest part should work. It doesn't yet, but we should be able to turn it on. So I was waiting for the final okay on that to flip that back on so you don't have to create an account. So I will let her know, and we'll send out an email that that's ready to go. And
Make the updates to the page. So it doesn't ask for, so when you.
oh yeah,
the initial.
yeah,
Yeah, the initial form doesn't ask for the
as
address
much.
and the phone number and all
So
the
we
stuff
don't get
any longer.
three times of
It
that.
just asks for email, 'cause that's what we
You
need
potentially
at
have
that
two, because even on a guest, for a financial transaction, we need some information. And I don't think you can separate those. So if theoretically you create an account, you would have to put in your address just like you create an account. But then when you bring that up, it's always going to bring up that page because we have to have that for guests. That's my understanding. I don't think I can have it different. But I'm checking. She's going to confirm that.
And if on that line, just briefly, if I can address something, if someone has created an account, say for example, as an individual, and then they come back in to create an account as a company, is there going to be any complication with them being able to set up separate?
That should be fine.
Yeah, we have people with personal accounts and business accounts. I mean, a separate email would be ideal. That way that person isn't getting confused on which one they're logging into. So
Yeah, the
that,
email-
I think
this
an email
email is linked.
would be great.
So they would
When they're talking about
technically
the
need a
account, they're
separate
talking
They don't
about
need one.
like the web track part of it, you know, like where we're processing funds and all of that. So like, for example, people that have a club at Callahan House, they can also have a separate household for them as an individual, or they can be combined. I mean, it depends on how they set it up, but there's in the households, you know, the accounts in WebTrack, you can have like an individual and an organization be part of it, and when you're going in to do transactions, you can select which one you're doing. So it's not uncommon for people, like, and when we get businesses that rent a house, but it's under someone's name, it's not that uncommon to deal with that, I guess.
So you think we should go back in now and retry it? And
I don't think it's
Well-
turned on yet.
You should be able to do the sign-in version, absolutely. It's the guest version that she's confirming you want to turn back on. It works. It's just, we've had it turned off since then because of these attacks, and we've been going back and forth with BreckTrack. And One thing to add on to that, through all of this, we are looking at switching the way we do business, and I don't know if this will have any meaning to you guys, but to where RecTrack hosts all of the software, and we don't host it in the city. We believe it would take care of a lot of these problems. Then they would be responsible for those attacks. It takes care of firewall, which is my catchphrase for everything, every problem in RecTrack. We'll see. There's a cost to it. It's not nothing. It's not ridiculous. The city wouldn't allow us to do that previously because of the financial aspect. However, considering where we're at in how we go about doing business and how challenging it can be, we're looking into that. And we should have a meeting here shortly on that. So it doesn't have anything to do with how this will actually work, but that could create a better situation in general for RecTrack, which we would love. So let me get that turned on, and I will send an email. It should be, I don't know, right away. And then you guys can try it out. You certainly, if you have an account or you want to sign up for an account, you can try it right now. It should work fine.
Well, that sounds good.
I got all the way to the end of it. And
That
it was no
sounds,
problem.
The
that
other
sounds
thing
good.
that Ian added when he redid the form to not ask for so much information, so
Yeah.
that when you're checking out, you don't have to then enter all the same information, is a little back button, so that you can actually like find your way back to the beginning of the process on the website.
Great.
The other portion that I know was difficult in the testing is that if you go in as an individual and you get partway through and then you want to go back and start over as an organization, the way that the website works is it just saves you as an individual moving forward. And so the only way to get around that is to clear your cache and cookies of your browser, which is like not intuitive for everyone. And Ian doesn't have, it's just the way the website works, there's not really a solution for that right now.
And that was what happening with the business. So if you went in as an individual and went in to sign in as a business, it only recognizes you as business.
Right, so you have to clear, like you have to, clear your cache and cookies of your browsers or restart it. So, and that's,
not entirely user friendly, but yeah.
No.
yeah, I mean, hopefully that situation is few and far between for somebody to go in and then decide that they're like restarting it. Obviously it may happen at some point. So I asked him about potential, like just putting a little note in there somewhere that says if you have to restart, like to clear your cache and cookie, that's really the only solution for that. It's just the way the website works, unless maybe in the future we have the platform is set up differently. But so just a note about that too, that is what it is at this point. But
Thank you for that information and for the update, and I think we'll take that information and have kind of the same sort of process in the next meeting, all of us with devices, and go through a bit of that again to test it out and come up with any instructions we might want to put together for a user-friendly experience. So on that note, let's look at committee meetings. The date for
I have something to interject here about committee meetings. What we might want to consider when we start setting our meetings is what's going to happen sooner than later, as far as what do we need to address sooner. So I'm thinking about decorating and that piece. So I don't want to lose the opportunity to get a committee meeting scheduled because we're looking at Tuesdays and Thursdays. So just consider that.
And
if something's more pressing, we need to take a look at that.
I think at this point, this is a pressing one because we want this hashed out before our September 13th Art Walk open house. So, because we're going to promote the patrons of Callahan House at that time. So I do think that this is important that we set a meeting. But thank you, I do appreciate your thought on that, and we should apply that.
And I'd like to interject as well that the second Thursday of the month is always clusters. It's always been clusters. And I can't do anything on Thursdays, whether we're posting it in the house or not, but it's been that way for 45 years.
So we need to keep in mind, second Thursday of every month is not really an option. It's just not. I mean,
If Maureen is on the committee, right?
Yeah.
If
No,
Maureen's
but-
not on the committee, then.
Yeah, but
that-
we use
that
the house,
excludes
we
her.
reserve the house.
And that is.
Questions
that's-
isn't here every month though.
It isn't, but we've
So-
always reserved the house as,
Right, but I keep a connection with Connie to know when they're gonna be using it or not, so it could be that if you're not on a committee and the house isn't being used by questers, that a committee could move forward with a meeting at
So can I
Callahan
ask
at
you,
that
what would
point.
happen if we do have a committee meeting scheduled and questers where they may have planned an off-site meeting for that Thursday of that month, determined that that was no longer an option, then they needed to come to the house. How would that?
Questers uses this space mostly, and we could still have a committee meeting upstairs. I would run it by Connie, but I'm sure that would be no problem.
well,
The only other issue that is a potential conflict is that we don't want to exclude Maureen in that. So I think we just need to be careful about that, and if there's any other, and it's just the second
parameters
Thursday.
of, those times available, it's 6 hours a week.
Yeah, and it's just
And
the second.
assuming, that works with you all's schedules and it works with the schedule of the house. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean that those times are always gonna be perfect, but that those are typically gonna be the best times for the house based on operations of custodial going on and not being able to schedule client meetings and things during those times. So, yeah.
But can we try to be a little flexible? I mean, obviously, our goal is to stay in those dates and time.
Yeah, I
frames.
think when you guys are
That's-
scheduling meetings, if we need to look, I mean, that was part of that write-up on the form, right, was if the house isn't available, then I and Brittany will actively support finding you. If the second Thursday is the only time you can meet that month, then we will find you a place to meet, certainly. That
What
was part of
time
that
of the
form.
day does questers meet?
it's an all-day thing.
Oh, it is,
We
okay,
usually start at 9 and go till
okay.
2 to 4, somewhere in there. yeah.
Okay,
So on that note, next week is not an option for me, so can we look at the week of the 25th?
Do we wanna, just about, thinking about what Candy said about, prioritizing, do you wanna go by one, or do you wanna see what all committees need to be taking, Art Walk?
Art Walk.
I think is probably the most, pressing right now, and kind of get a grasp of what all needs to be scheduled right away, and then go from there, or do you wanna look at it one by one?
I think one by one is okay. We can justify why it's necessary to do it sooner rather than
It would
later.
just be helpful to know, if you're thinking about, a 90-minute chunk of time or a 3-hour chunk of time as we're looking through the schedule, if you're looking at having more.
Okay, so
meetings.
patrons of the Callahan House, I would imagine, will take realistically an hour and a half. We'll go through the same process we did before, but we're going to actually put together those instructions that we began to pause on because the system was not functional. And so we have to do that work. We have to put that work in, and it does need to be done and then submitted to you before the end of that week for sure.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm
So
just
that it
saying,
can be
let's go
done
through and look at
before
what
Art Walk.
committees need to take place right now. Art Walk needs to take place, patrons, probably fall tea and decorating, and maybe the booklet tour.
Okay. So the only one that I'm aware of that is all board members is the patrons. So Art Walk consists of Maureen, Julie, Jeff, and myself. So I think somehow we'll be able to piggyback it and work it so that we can get both Art Walk and patrons done.
And that's my point. So when
Yes.
we're looking at the schedule, let's look at what all committees need to happen
Yes.
and just look at
And
those
try to
all in
prepare.
one chunk as opposed to
Separately.
setting patrons now and then going through the rest of this and then setting some more.
Right.
So do you want to do that in their committee
25th.
updates or?
No, I think that we're kind of aware of that. Let's
Okay.
go ahead and look at the week of the 25th. So the 26th, is that,
Or the 28th.
the
is-
26th?
The 26th was exactly what I zeroed in on
I think
for
it's a great
the
idea.
holiday decorating meeting.
Oh, well, the only reason I'd say that the 26th is probably preferable for patrons is because we're going to need to get those instructions done and complete, and it's going to have to be provided to Brittany timely so that she can turn it around. So perhaps the 28th might be a better day for
Can you do the
decorating. Or holiday decorating September 2nd. Or y'all can do holiday decorating next week. I'm sorry, I'll miss it. I'm
Can't
out
do
of
it
town.
next week either. That's,
Okay.
I mean, I did put thought into that purposely. I mean, I realize that we've got so many committees that it's kind of difficult to.
Okay, so the
Take 'em all.
patrons, we're gonna promote this on the 13th during our walk. We want things functioning, we want things in place online
Could
well in
you do
advance of that.
afternoon?
I don't know
On the
how.
26th?
So you're saying the patrons committee is the one you feel needs to meet soon, and I also feel the holiday decorating needs to meet soon.
Okay, well.
Okay,
we-
what else?
we
Other
could do
committees
Art
that
art
are
walk.
walk is the
Art
priority.
walk is the very first priority, right?
Yeah, and really, Art Walk, we've already established where people are gonna meet. We already have the band, we've already got everything set up. We're doing a quick overview and I hate to jump ahead to the next thing, but the only other thing that I can think of that we really need for Art Walk is basically what staff will be here from the city.
Okay,
That's
so we
my
don't
question.
really need to.
It'll be
set a
very
meeting.
brief. It'll be very brief meeting.
Can it be done by email or something?
No, I think it'd be better in person. I
Do you still need to work on the map and
I've already-
reach out to the artists and everything?
We've
or that's
already
all
got the
this?
map set, and then we're going to just
And we need to talk about we still want to do the booth. We need to talk about that. So
the what?
The booth downtown, if that's still of interest.
Yes, and do the sign up for the booth.
Okay.
But basically, it's going to be a very short, to the point. And honestly, I was going to actually do that under Art Walk when we discussed it. So
Back on point, so we're talking about prioritizing. Both Art Walk and patrons have to be done and complete before Art Walk. And patrons requires some back work through the computer system
Yeah, we understand.
in advance. So that needs to be done sooner rather than later. I don't know how quickly you would be prepared to turn something around if it's given to you the week of Art Walk. I don't even know when you're in the office. That's the point.
she's
I don't
under-
know out of the office. So
Sounds like
it's
there's not
really,
gonna be much.
and I respectfully request that we work together on this, but the priority is not Christmas right now. It's Art Walk and patrons, because patrons is promoted at Art Walk.
is there any way that we can do it? Can we do patrons in the morning?
I was
Yes.
going to say, can we do holiday decorating in the morning, patrons in the afternoon?
What time in the afternoon do we have until we only?
What day are we looking at?
I mean, I don't care,
It's-
whatever.
26.
It's the
Tuesday.
20th.
But if we could share that day, that would be great.
I'm at the hospital every Monday and Tuesday mornings
Okay,
till
so Tuesday.
afternoon.
So Tuesday
So-
morning could work for
Decorating.
holiday decorating because
Are you
Diana,
going
you're not
to
part of that.
Are you doing holiday decorating on your end?
She's
on
not
the
on the committee.
Okay,
And
so
so-
could we do the morning for holiday decorating and then do
And
the
then what
afternoon?
time do we have for the afternoon? I told
Could
you we
we-
do
could-
need about an hour and a half, and that's
Well, what time can you start? I mean,
9:30? 9 o'clock?
for
Holiday
sorry,
decorating.
so holiday decorating at 9 o'clock on the 26th.
Yes, and then
Okay.
could we work until later afternoon on the 26th?
Are they back to back?
Close. There'll be
Okay.
like an hour
I
difference.
won't be able to arrive until 9:30 for holiday decorating.
Okay, so let's start holiday decorating at 9:30 on the 26th, and then what time? And you want till 11 for that, or
Well, it depends.
I think we go
what
to,
time
I
can
think we
the-
could go to noon because
we're
we
talking
have
about
so
having
much to cover.
Art walk or patrons after that?
we need patrons to happen on that day.
Yeah, and so it'd be art walk briefly,
Okay, so
and then patrons combined.
okay, so holiday decorating, art walk, patrons
Right,
that day.
that day.
Okay,
And the
so
problem
let's just
is,
say
it'll go past noon.
That's fine. We can accommodate that day. So we'll just say 9:30 to unknown-ish time. Jacqueline's going to be here in the afternoon. We've got an all-day rental that day. That's from like 7 to 4 or 5, but they're just in the upstairs room with the
Okay.
understanding that they've only rented that space, so we can use this space.
Okay.
So, so y'all would be down here, but,
Okay, that
but
puts
we
a,
can accommodate it to,
that puts a hitch in what I was gonna have us do then.
Oh.
Because I was gonna have us bring our things and store them in the attic that day.
well, I mean, you can still access the attic if it's,
Or just, I mean, bring them to see what we have.
yeah.
And then have them ready to store in the attic.
Well, I
for
think you
future
could
use.
store it here and we can get stuff up in the attic.
Okay.
That might be better than y'all hauling stuff up and down those stairs anyway. So-
And certain things, I wasn't prepared to bring, like some of the empty dolls and stuff until we set up.
Well, I realize that, but I think we all talked about things that we do have
Yeah.
that we can bring here and see what we've got. We're gonna have to see what we've got.
Yes,
So
yes,
that's
absolutely.
the point, just
We'll be
bring
able
it
to
here.
use the projector, but
Yeah, we
you
don't
could
need it
share
for this.
on a laptop for patrons or something. So that would be
Yes,
one
maybe,
consideration,
sure.
but the upstairs meeting is booked the meeting room is booked all day that day.
Could we use the auto house?
All right, you know what?
Okay, here, let me rethink this.
Just put patrons on the 28th. I will just crush through it and get it to you as quickly as I can, Brittany, and then we're gonna have to get it turned around so it's prepared and ready and live and good to go and tested well before the 13th. When will you be?
I mean, my last day is the 29th. That Friday.
Yeah, that's-
Karen, you're gonna be out of town all next week, is that what I heard?
Electronic.
Oh, yeah. Just
So next week's out of
And that's it.
Yeah, next week's out for me.
Karen's,
Maybe my daughter.
Ben,
We can
Ben
take
and Kristen
care
are offering to take care of that.
Because we're talking about the how-to thing about how to do the computer thing, or trying to make that easy for folks. That we can take care of that. So
And fixing of some of the,
I think once
Things
you
on the
see it
pages.
without the guest, or like with the guest option, I think I don't think there'll be too much more.
Yeah, there is
After that,
not
or
much
that we
more
can
wiggle room
do,
we
so.
can edit after we all sat through and went through.
Yeah, but
but
we'll see.
I'm here when Brittany's out, and so if the 28th works, I'll just be the one you'll be working with to figure that out before.
I mean, you
walk.
could also use the projector, like if you need the projector, you can, we don't want it in here, but you can use it in here, or, you know, I'm just
Or
letting
we
you know that the
probably-
meeting room is not,
Tuesday
or maybe the board,
mornings.
or the committee, what am I thinking of? The room at,
The conference room would be available in the afternoon on the 26th, which has, I could log in on my computer, or the Aspen room I could look at, which has a TV, or we have our own projector situation over there in the afternoon.
or you could use the little TV down here and hook up your laptop to that.
I will change my meeting. Just cancel that. I'll figure something else out.
I mean,
So if that
you don't
helps.
need the projector, it makes sense for you to still meet.
Yeah, but it
In
sounds like it's
space.
too early for you to have some things.
No, I've got ideas and I've got things. It's just, I'm not willing to bring a lot of my antiques and leave them in the attic. I'm not willing to
No,
do
I
that.
understand that, but, okay. Anybody else have things that they've pulled together?
I pulled
Okay.
stuff, and I can bring them, but I'm just not willing to leave them here yet.
All right, let's just let that day go. I got another plan. Talk about it later.
So our walk-in patrons, do you still want on the 26th? That works with your schedule, and we will figure out a plan for audio or visual for you.
we can do that on the 26th here, and we can set up the screen in the music room. We can do that.
Okay,
That's doable.
so patrons starting at 9:30.
Yes. You know, Diana, I know you're not available in the morning.
I could be here by 11:30. And you don't need me here.
So we could do art walk at 9:30 and then do patrons patrons after that.
That's
That
great.
would work.
Okay.
That'll work. So starting with Art Walk, and then we'll move into patrons.
Yeah. Because it is best if we're all together.
Yeah, and the bottom line is, we really want to have the patrons think for the table now, the table on meeting too.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so if you start art walk at 9:30,
Mhm.
how long are you planning for that to last?
45 minutes,
So we'll allow an hour, how about that?
an hour.
So from
Okay.
9:30 to 10:30, we'll.
Because like some of us aren't on that committee, so, but we are on the patrons.
Right, so 10:30.
So 10:30,
We will start,
patrons.
patrons. And Diana, if you'll just join us at 11, that would be wonderful.
I'll get here as soon as I can.
Thank you. And everyone else is available to be there for patrons,
Okay,
right?
great.
Okay, great. All right, and then I would ask,
Art Walk, right. Okay, good.
and then I would ask that everyone be prepared, or actually between now and the 26th, go ahead and email to me your lists. Those Excel lists, those Excel spreadsheet that had 2 different tabs, one for individuals and one for companies and organizations. And when we met a couple of months ago, the objective was everyone will individually fill in people they know that we should add to the donors list as of people we're going to be contacting, people and organizations and companies. So I'll ask that you go ahead and complete your spreadsheet and email that back to me before the 26th. And then I can compile everything. If you can email it back to me by the morning of the 25th, that's helpful. Then I can compile everything and be prepared for the 26th on the meeting. Does that sound good?
Okay.
Okay. All right. That's, and then please remember to bring your devices. We're going to kind of go through the exercise again, step it through, and make sure that we iron everything out. Okay? All right, thanks. All right, then that concludes the patrons of the Callahan House portion. Then we're on to future restoration preservation. And I believe that you are the one who has the updates for all. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Quick update about the fencing. We're still just waiting on the finials. They're just waiting to come in, but then as soon as those are here, then that project is done. So looking at the dining room, and also a quick note before we dive into the dining room stuff, we've got somebody coming out, I think it's next week, to look at, it's not our usual contractor, it's been too hard to get a hold of. But it's the folks that did the firehouse, recommended that they just did the restoration on the firehouse. So they're gonna come out and look at the fountain for us and get some information on resurfacing and resealing and how often that needs to be done and get a quote for that. And I also want them to take a look at the white tile floors, upstairs and down, and just see about like a deep clean and a resurfacing of those, because they're getting very porous and they're really, really hard to keep clean and look good. So,
That's
so those are
been
the two
an
things that
ongoing
they're.
issue for years, and we've talked about possibly replacing them.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
of it.
Only
So-
upstairs.
Only
the
upstairs.
kitchenette was a replacement. I think the downstairs that's original.
Did the kitchenette used to be this?
I'm sorry.
The kitchenette used to be this tile?
No.
Oh,
No, that tile's the original from
Right.
Callahan's. The kitchenette was done after it was gifted.
oh yeah, I thought you were saying that they replaced this with what's there now.
No.
Okay.
No,
So, yeah,
upstairs is
just to,
not
like-
original, and
Sorry
it
for
can
any
be-
mis.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, upstairs is not original. It can be replaced. And
Yeah.
That's acceptable.
Okay. So yeah, just quick update about looking into that. And then yeah, in terms of the dining stuff, in the end, we only ended up with 2 complete quotes. So we had received some other quotes from other companies, but one had kind of declined to move forward with the rest of the information that we had asked for. And then another one I followed up 2 or 3 times and never heard back from. So I'm assuming they're not planning to. I kind of created a deadline too. So.
Did you see these pictures?
So anyhow,
Let's let Brittany finish what she's saying with this. It's really important to hear this.
anyhow, the information that's available is going to be from Memory Lane Antiques, who we've been talking with for a while now, and then Eli's Originals is kind of a newer quote. They came out and took a look and and provided a quote and all of the information that we asked for. We need 2 quotes to move forward, and so basically all the information is here to, for comparison for you. I apologize for the printing. I had to replace, I think, 2 or 3 different cartridges as I was printing the packets. So the coloring is a bit off, but anyhow. Yeah, so they both completed the quote, all of the information that was asked for. Just to understand the numbers, the total for Eli's Originals is $12,700. The total for Memory Lane Antiques is $28,710. 28,710. And 12,700 for Eli's. So that's not to say that we have to go with the lowest quote. We will have to make a case to purchasing. And I did already kind of connect with Pam about that to give her a heads up. And seemingly with the specialty nature of the project, that comes into play, obviously. But I'm basically purchasing is going to make the final decision in the end if we can move forward with the higher quote. So, but do take some time to, or if you've taken some time to look through these and just if there's any questions for comparison or anything to kind of go through, then we can do that at this point.
I think I'd like to hear from everyone on board.
Yeah.
I'll start this way.
Personally, just from the process of the first quote that's stated, I can see why it's way less. He is really not, I'm assuming it's a he and she.
It's Eliza, actually.
Who they are, it's not about preservation, it's about rechanging the original pieces to whatever, to modernize them. And I just don't see them of the same caliber of what we want to do as preservation and restoration. And that's, so I tend to go back to the memory lane, that it is about preservation and restoration and keeping the pieces in good shape, not redoing or changing the look or appearance. And that
is some of what they do. They also do the restoration and preservation aspect. Just to, some of the images that they shared obviously are what you just stated.
Yeah.
But they do the restoration piece, which is why we reached out to them. But just to clarify that.
I read both of them. I think Memory Lane, we can actually picture their process as they're going along. It's so detailed and seemed to take in every aspect of this furniture. So that's definitely my opinion.
I agree. I was just amazed at how detailed he was with everything, and that was what we wanted to hear, and so I definitely remember that.
Okay, I'm kind of going clockwise here, Jeff.
I agree with you just saying there's a world difference in the photographs up provided. And Eli has a couple of statements here saying that when we're talking about preservation of the carved detail, if you're leaning to have everything completely stripped and redone, I want to be transparent that it might be more than we're equipped to take on due to the level of detail involved. So I think he's being very straightforward and honest. I think it's a red flag for us.
Is that it?
I picked up on the same thing, that Eli seems like it might be out of their depth. I liked how Memory Lane talked about we'll use old wood to repair this part because of how it takes things, and talking about what kind of adhesive is used. So I think it's well worth to spend the extra with Memory Lane to have it done correctly.
And I stand in agreement. I think Memory Lane Antiques is our choice. And I don't know who else is coming or what they're going to present, but unless they are
It's kind of closed at this point. We're
parallel
probably
to
open to more
I
quotes.
was going to say, I think at this point, I would move. And, whatever's coming in later is fine, but I would move that we move forward with memory lane and Chiefs.
I am a little concerned that purchasing is gonna be the final decision person.
I don't think we're really gonna have
There's
an
no
issue with
getting out
that.
of
but-
that. You can make a movement to recommend that we go with memory lane, and we will support that.
I just don't see it.
And the money is there.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
they understand that this
Yeah.
is a special facility with special needs and a special project. So I don't
feel
think
like-
we're gonna have an
I feel
issue
like
with
we
that,
can get
but
this done the right way.
My concern is because we are a historic home and we are concerned with historic preservation and restoration. If we went about doing it the cheapest way for the windows and other things that we would be in trouble because we'd replace them. Everything would
and
just
purchasing
be.
made note of that they expect,
Okay.
a
So-
more
so it costs more
specialty
to-
process will
We're all
be
in agreement.
appropriate.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it is okay at this point.
And again, the money, well, we'll know in like 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Right.
But the money will be there, and it's enough to cover memory lane. It was set up to do that much.
Plus the donation
I don't-
requesters.
I don't see where-
We're working
We don't
at.
foresee there being an issue, so you understand the
Yeah,
process is
yeah.
that purchasing has the final say.
They always do, no
So-
matter how we slice that.
Since we're at that point, I move, because I make a motion, I move that we recommend Memory Lane Antiques as our restoration and preservation company for the dining room furniture. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Maureen. Any other discussion?
Are we expecting any other companies to?
It's
similar-
closed at this
Okay.
point, yeah, I'm not accepting any further quotes. Depending on what purchasing needs, I may, ask for someone to put together a reasoning for them.
Happy to do
But,
so.
Yep.
So do we
But
present?
I imagine this, even just what is here might be enough for them to move forward, but if we
I'm,
need anything further.
I'm very optimistic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
But if
have
they
a
do
lot
need
of experience with
something
purchasing,
else.
and this is a situation where I feel like they will. I can't guarantee, right? I don't ever guarantee anything in the city, believe me. But I have worked with them long enough to know that I think we can push this one through like we would like, and I don't think they're even going to fight it.
Okay,
It's
because
very justified.
the bottom line is we are trying to, don't like the term backfill, but we are trying to, we've written grants and proposals based off the original quote that we received. This was for that project to be done, and we're currently coming back in with the funds to.
That might be an argument at some point. So if for some reason we get into a fight about it, and I'll take this one right past Pam and Valerie, then that might be one of the arguments we want to bring up. I don't think so at this point, but I think that's very valid.
Okay.
That we've been, I don't even want to say the dollar amount, but the type of project we've been putting out there really zeroes in on what these guys are doing.
That's
And we have been putting it out there as something to groups to do a grant with,
Yeah.
and this type of process. Not that these guys are bad or anything like that, but this clearly states the type of process. So I think there's a lot of.
Thank you, Ben, I appreciate that.
So how is something like this presented, or how should it be presented to purchasing?
Well, I'll connect back with
Yeah,
Pam and
it's-
see what she needs. She may just need the information that's the same way as it is right now in the packet. I imagine that would probably be sufficient, but if they do need some further kind of write-up, then I would, look to you all to provide that.
So right up, could it be any a personal presentation, meeting with them? You
No,
don't do that.
just probably a short letter, I would say.
So a write-up could be helpful.
Oh,
We
but
don't
you're
need it
going
at
to
this
submit.
point. I'll
Okay,
let
I
you
don't-
know if we
yeah,
need that. I imagine that we.
And we have
won't,
time.
But,
We have time.
Yeah.
So about that process of submitting, you're going to submit to them this
pretty much this.
documentation. And so it is kind of prima facie.
And
It
certainly,
stands on itself.
we'll
Yes.
bring up exactly
Rest
what you
it
pointed out. I saw that
stands for
too.
itself.
So that's a really good example of something that,
Would it be helpful for someone on the board or someone to actually write up a synopsis?
Not at this point. I think
I-
we're good with
Okay,
this.
very
If we need
comfortable.
anything
Very
further, yeah, I don't want to waste your time. So
Yeah,
if we need
let's-
anything further, I would
let's keep it
absolutely love for someone to do that. But at this point, I imagine this will be sufficient. And if it's not, I'll let you know.
Okay, and that, as long as that's an acceptable thing to do later if they're having
We
any other
won't,
questions.
there were, we won't be doing, for sure, 100%, we will not do anything else before talking with you guys, right? So I'm talking about that, this, this version here. We would not do anything or agree to anything without coming back to you guys.
Okay. Thank you.
We need to call for the vote.
Call for the vote.
So we've got no further discussion. All right, all those in favor? It is unanimous. Lovely. Okay. And that concludes what we need to talk about, future restoration and preservation, right? Okay. All right. What about on to restricted areas and encampment?
Oh, I'm sorry. That was the update about the fencing. I got you. It's not part of that, but anyway, that's the only update is that we're waiting on the finials. And then once that's done, that project will be closed out.
Okay, excellent. All right, then moving on to the committee updates. So we'll start with Art Walk, and Marlene, you are.
Okay, Art Walk is, we had set, Jeff and I met and we set where the artists are going to be placed on the map. And basically what we need to do now is we need to, we've already set the meeting to finalize anything. I need to know which staff will be here in place of, because Brittany's going to be here. So that was my clarification of one of the things I needed to know. And I also need to have volunteer board members that will be at the booth on Main Street.
So my suggestion would be to have a staff member, like one of our staff, Betsy, Jacqueline, Sarah, someone along those lines, with a board member at the booth.
Okay.
Because, we have to set it up. So we're borrowing the pop-up and whatnot from the city, but it's going to be a pop-up and a table and those kind of things. So I would suggest a board member and a staff member there to do that setup and to be there for the day or for the evening, I guess. So we've got, I know Kristen's planning on being at the house that day, and then we've also got Betsy and Sarah are signed up for that event. So I think one of them with a board member over on Main, and then the other one can be here to help Kristen and the board.
And we will also be selling, in my opinion, we should be selling art or art pieces so people can see the art there of the house as well as here, and do the.
The only is if we have access to a second move, that would be the only thing, unless we did cash only. We don't have two credit card readers.
I think we can borrow one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that would
Let
be
me
the only
check
thing
on
we
that.
need to do.
But
So
I
that's
think we
one
can
of the
borrow
things.
one.
Okay.
Because ideally, that's what we'd like to do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then if people choose to donate there, then we can as well. And we'll have the patrons' information. So splitting or being wonderful everywhere is what the goal is. So on the 13th. And we'll have, help me with the name of the band again.
Doug Bronson and Friends.
Yeah, Doug Bronson and Friends will be here. And
Doug's one of our guys.
Yes, he is.
yeah,
What's his name again?
As is
Doug
Kim.
Bronson
and
and
Friends.
Friends. It is in the
It is.
email.
It's the same group though that.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Side story there, but to be talked about another time. But I do think that basically, I think all of that information is in the email that I sent on July 15th to everybody. Musicians are the Bronson and Friends, not having nothing to spot this year at Boardwalk. And so that's there if you need to double check the spot.
So,
4 to 8, is that the correct time?
Mm-hmm.
What time do we need to be?
3:30.
Okay.
Well,
Or maybe 3?
I think so, because I just do the setup, and myself, so I think,
Do we need to be here at 3?
I can talk to Kristen and Betsy, whoever's gonna be in the house, but maybe some additional hands to set up.
So let's move it to 3.
Well, artists are gonna be arriving at 3, so this year, the board needs to be in charge of organizing artist arrival, getting them into their spaces, so.
We
I
have to
think
be
it's gonna
here no later than
3.
3.
Because-
Artists
but if
are
you're
arriving
ready-
at 3, so we need the board to be here ahead of time to organize
2:45.
artist arrival.
2:45.
2:45.
Okay, so then the expectation is for staff to do the setup that day?
I believe that's kind of not unusual.
What's the setup entail? I'm sorry, but.
No, you're fine, so
No.
the check-in table, the artwork in here, I guess it depends on what the organizational plan is for the artists. Like last year, we did
It's
the
very
flags in the garden, I don't know if that needs to happen again or not. I mean, that depends on Mel's plan for the map.
And what time does Art Walk start?
It starts at 4,
So I think.
and
if
we
you-
also, last year, even though artists weren't supposed to arrive till 3, some people arrived at 2:30. If anybody's, each room has to be set up for each artist, if they were using tables, easels. So there's quite a bit of setup.
Yeah.
Okay, I can be here at 2:30.
We can be here at 2:30 and the bottom, I'll make sure they're here at 2:30.
Okay.
They're
That's gonna
artists.
be the staff doing the setup then.
And the bottom line is the artists themselves are supposed to bring their own items for the outside area. We have 3 artists in here, video upstairs. Really, technically, no artists are going to be upstairs. Just 3 none on the porch except for the band. So we can have a sign up area just right at the entrance here.
I mean, that gives you an hour and a half to support the vendors as they're setting up, right?
Which is, so if you come at 2:30, you're just gonna be here in time to help with the vendors, and organizing that. So setup takes all day. Like for me by myself, it's setting up the video, all the chairs upstairs, setting up each room for the artists, setting up our artwork, getting the welcome station ready,
Is
the
any
banners. I mean, it's a lot of setup. So I'm just
Yes.
saying if anybody can come earlier to help staff with that, so it's not just one person doing
What
that.
time
When
would
I do it
staff
myself,
come?
that's different, but
What time would a staff person?
it'll
come?
depend on how many people are
That's what
helping
she
or
wants
how
to
many need to
do.
be here.
So
So
do you
is
need
it-
me here at noon? I
Is
can
there
be here at
any-
noon.
Is there any event going on Friday?
So I was gonna ask.
Because,
We could set up
I
Friday.
plan and do things that are, on a grand
Yeah,
scale.
my usual would
in
be to set up
advance,
all day
and I start
Friday.
setting up in advance, little bit by little bit, and then I can leisurely be like, I'm ready for the day.
Right, but it's different when I'm here all day, every day, and I can set up, but we're scheduling staff to be here. I just need to be a little more strategic about it.
For that week, yeah.
So I'll
so
change
we
it.
don't have anything on the Friday.
Okay,
I think that would work.
yeah.
But you need to have a staff person here to open.
Yeah.
We really can't set up too much in advance outside.
And
And there's really no setup from us outside.
Right,
But all of the indoor setup is really what it is. So it's the video, it's this room, and then preparing each of the rooms for the artists.
And
according to
then
their
the only
needs.
other thing that we were
And then
going
the
to
welcome
do,
table we could get
The
ready,
welcome
just
table.
move it out there.
yeah.
So
And then we have a water station in
oh yeah.
the
Last year we got refreshments.
Mhm.
Do we want to do anything besides water? I think I went and got or was that maybe that was for Club Affair?
It was for Club
That was a
Affair.
public fair.
It was Club Affair that we got refreshments.
Refreshments for Art Walk.
I don't believe we did.
Okay, I
I
don't
think
think
we
so.
just had water.
Excuse me. Okay.
Because if people overheat, we want to make sure that we've got our bases covered.
Okay.
And we just wanted to use that space simply for artists from the garden to go and use the facilities if they need to and have the ability to get water. So just a water station.
So when do you want to be here for the 12th? Friday the 12th for setup.
1 o'clock. We could go just.
Sounds good.
It'll just take us an hour, I would think. If we've got more hands, we can get this done really quick. And then the only thing that really needs to then be set up is moving of the entrance table on the outside. Can the flags be done the day before?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
and then, so we're just doing water. So then if we show up at 3 o'clock, I think we should be fine.
I think 2:30, just
2:30.
because
I'll
artists,
plan to be here
last year
2:30.
some artists showed up early and I
Okay,
didn't,
fine.
I did not let them do that.
I will commit to being here at 2:30.
I'll be here at 2:30. I got it.
So that way,
When are you
yeah,
gonna
it's easier.
schedule who from your team?
Well, I'll see if that's your Sarah's available to cover on, or to be here on the 12th to help organize the setup. And then,
So then you'll get back to us to let us know what time.
yeah, well, what time do you, I mean, no, you let me
1
know what time
p.m.
you wanna come, 1 PM, and then I'll
1
see.
p.m. on the
Friday,
12th.
Friday the 12th at 1 p.m. is
Yeah.
And
board
then
to
the
come
13th.
here and
For
set up
probably
inside.
a couple of hours, with several hands.
Yeah.
It should be light work.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so then we just need to make sure that we've got a water station. Do I need to get cups or anything like that? for
No,
that?
we've got all that, so we've got everything for that. Set up a table in there and take out the dispensers and cups and.
That's it.
Mhm.
Pretty smooth sailing is what
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I know we have less artists, but we arrange things. We have just quickly arranged to the artists differently because we have 2 fabric artists. I put one out in the garden, one in here. Then we have John. I can't remember his last name.
Aaron.
But he had lots of artwork, and we were going to move him here, and we've shifted some things.
He's gonna be right here where he's been. He's pretty hardcore about that, so.
He is hardcore.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought we could shift him at least in this space a little bit. just
Well,
to make-
he's like right out here by the Venus statue in this kind of nook where he's been.
Wrong artist. I'm
Oh.
talking about inside the house.
Oh, John Bagwell, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I
Yeah,
think he needs to be
Bagwell.
in that room. 'Cause with all the
John,
pieces and
that's
stuff.
exactly.
Okay.
Bagwell, we moved him over into the office
Yeah, that would
area,
be for the
and
best.
then we've got the 2 other artists here. One is a photographer, and one is a fabric artist. And then
Which fabric artist is in the house? I mean, that's important, because mine requested to be in the house.
okay, and what was her name?
Pat Sorensen,
I'll verify if it's Pat or
she requested.
Yeah.
Yes, but she was last on the list to sign up, and Joan is the one who signed up immediately from Rembrandt's, and
Also requested
in the
inside?
house, and so that
So they both requested
that came,
inside.
she confirmed early and right away, and inside.
Well, mine won't be here then.
And Pat confirmed at the last minute.
Does
So
the
I don't
photographer
know
know
what
what's
you-
inside?
No, but they're both very similar artwork. So
Can't have 2 fabric artists, right, next to one another.
what we could do, yes, we could. We could put,
Why not?
we can.
They're too similar in what.
No, here's what we'll do. We'll put John Bagwell here, even with his easels, and we'll separate the 2 artists. It'll work. Let me figure it out.
Yeah, it'll work.
I know how to herd cats.
Sorry, but
It'll
she
be fine.
specifically said that was part of her.
Her
Maybe the
qualm.
other, maybe the one that signed up earlier is more flexible.
No,
Okay.
it was very clear.
I think if you separate them,
We'll just separate them by
Do what we
room.
can.
It'll be fine. It'll all work.
Okay.
Somehow it will work.
Okay, just make sure, please, that John will need a lot of guidance in terms of making sure that people
He
can walk
doesn't-
through this room safely without tripping on
Without
easels.
tripping over the easel.
And,
Yes.
and it might need to be checked on throughout the event.
Okay.
So-
Does he rearranges?
Well, it just, that message had to be reiterated several times last year, that people need to be able to get through the room without tripping on legs of easels and get through the doors. So, just something to keep an eye on if you're gonna put him in here.
So should
We
board
could also
members,
I'm so sorry, Dana.
you need some members at the welcome table, some board.
Mm-hmm.
But I would think that it would be helpful to have some of us throughout the house just to kind of,
We're going to need to do that. That's
Floating a bit.
we're going to be
Yeah.
floating, except for the one person at the booth on me.
Patron, well, and I'll be at the patrons table.
So
So here.
so we need a board member to
Is that
volunteer.
another setup then? Patrons table is a separate setup?
Yes.
Okay, so we can have that prepped along with the welcome table.
Mm-hmm. So I need a different board member, and it can't be me, that is on Main Street.
And it can't be me because I'm here for patrons. So.
I'll do.
You'll do it?
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you, Julie.
Like, maybe
you
we
could
could
also
do a
put
little
a fabric
alter-
artist in here and have the Callahan at work in one of the other rooms. Just
I think I might.
There's no requirement that Callahan is in here. So if that helps you put
It
fabric
will.
here and then.
And split the two.
Yeah.
That would be,
Thank you. I
It
appreciate that.
would be best if we could put John in here.
and if he
then-
tends to move a little bit, then if we keep this space, yeah.
Yeah,
I
you can
think,
put fabric in here and put Callahan in one of these two.
okay, that's what I'll do then.
That's great, thank you.
It'll all work. No,
Okay.
nobody upset. I don't want anybody upset.
And
or
there'll be a
harmed.
table for her, right?
Yes, there will.
And I have a suggestion, just because I do think that it would be helpful for a little bit of a switch up at the Main Street table versus here on site. I do think it might be helpful to have the board member who's at the table on Main Street work either the first half of the time and then come over here for the second half, and then someone who's here for the first half go over there for the second half. All the board members. That's the point. I want all the board members included in this in-house that is supported by the board, and I think with the new members too, we really do need to allow that exposure to occur so that they experience being here on
So
site.
whoever's here can walk over, relieve
Switch
that
over.
person and send them over.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is there somebody that's willing to split their time?
I mean, Cindy also is.
Would you do it?
So-
Keep in mind, whoever's over there will have to help with setup and or cleanup of that. So
Okay.
just the more physical aspect of it is all.
Okay,
Say.
Okay, so we've got Jeff has volunteered. So which part do you want to do, front or back? You guys, what
First or
half?
second
First
half.
or second half?
I have no preference.
We'll work it out.
Work it out, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Julie. Thank you, Jeff.
Sounds good.
Okay, we'll work it. All right, so we've got,
Any other details we need to hash out now before our meeting on the 26th?
Just a note, maybe for one of you guys, is the booth stuff has to be picked up ahead of time. I have an appointment set with Rachel for a few days ahead because that's kind of like how they schedule that. So I don't know if we want to, if somebody can pick that up and bring it here.
Do you have
so
an
that
appointment?
it's
Can you forward it to me?
Yes.
On the day you have
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
okay, so
Is that
when you say breakdown, do we have to
Rachel
physically?
has like a brand thing that you can like check.
It's like the city tent and stuff. Yeah.
Do we physically have to
Set it
return
up
the tent?
and break it down. I need to find out about the return.
I can return. I mean, it can come back to the. It's on a Saturday, so we're not returning anything Saturday night.
Okay.
So
Obviously,
yeah,
yeah,
it can
so
come back to the
Monday
house
or
and then.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, where would we store it in the auto house
Yeah.
until?
We don't have a wedding
Or I can
until
throw it in my
19th,
car and it can
Yeah.
come back to the memorial building or something.
so- Yeah, maybe you
Yeah,
could
I
drive
could just-
over and,
Mhm.
and then just have them load it. And
I'm
ship it
happy to help close. I just don't know if you want me here through.
I
Either
want
way.
you here if there's any major emergencies. I need to know who
Sorry,
my
Mike.
contact person is.
But maybe at the end you could drive over and load that. Have
So
load that
basically,
stuff into your
if
car.
I'm doing the monkey arm, I'm coming towards you. That's what I'm telling
Okay.
you. You know, basically, who do I?
It's a great visual.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep that one in mind.
Sorry.
I have a Honda Pilot too, so I can drive
Okay.
over and throw it back in there too, so.
Okay, we've got a plan. All right, thank
The
you.
only other piece about Art Walk is I was waiting on, or you could send it out. It's just the final communication to artists.
I want to go
with.
over it with you, and
Okay.
because you've been the main communicator point, but I also want them to know that I'm going to be the main point of contact. here.
Yeah, I think it might be good to like an email that we're on to say, any
That's
further
exact-
questions, reach out to Maureen, but here's the map and the final info.
That's exactly
Okay,
it.
so I'll
So,
wait on that from you.
so what would be a good time to talk to you, to just come in and we can just do that quickly together?
If you have it ready, today's good, or?
I don't have it ready the second, but,
Okay.
but,
I think you can just probably email it to me then, and we can
Okay,
have
cool.
a phone conversation if needed.
Grant,
and we'll go
that
from there.
works.
Okay.
That works.
Okay, thank you.
Not tomorrow. It'll be Friday.
That's fine. Yeah,
Can't do tomorrow.
we're a month out from today, so I think if it's by the end of next week or so, that should be good.
I don't want to send too soon for we get a lot of complaints because people will say,
but I changed my mind. I don't want to.
Oh, sure. Okay, a couple weeks out then maybe?
Yeah,
Or
2
at
weeks.
least I can send it,
2 weeks
my
out.
last
Yeah.
day will be 2 weeks out, and then after that they can talk to you.
That's
Yeah.
exactly it, Brittany. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
You're not counting the days, are you, or the hours?
Hours, seconds, minutes.
Okay. Does that wrap up our?
Yes,
for
it
what we
does.
need
I
today?
apologize.
Okay. No, that was really important, so thank you for everyone's attention. All right, we'll move on to the next committee update, and that's room by room booklet, and check. That's you.
We've done a bit of revisions on this since our last board meeting. Primarily added floor plans, and on the back, we've got a little description of the events and things that the Callahan House offers. It's such a treasure trove of information, and it's hard to condense things down. When we met committee last time, we thought maybe we'd try to do 2 bullet points per room, and especially after the last open house, just seeing all the conversations, question asked, and the people actually went through the previous thing in detail. My concern is maybe we need to sneak some more information in here as much as we can. So I wanted to do that with the committee and also get everybody's opinion on this. So we can make it, as informative as possible, but not overwhelming.
Yeah.
So are you interested in hearing the board's overall feedback in general about this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I love the floor plans. They look so nice.
I like that.
Wow.
That's nice to see.
Yeah, they look so nice.
So we'll take a minute to read through just some reactions. Actually, a quick review is probably good. That's what the people are going to see when they walk in.
Right.
They're going to do a quick.
Did you do these, or where'd you find these?
I did those.
Awesome.
It was a combination of documents that already been prepared here.
Cool.
Well, that's beautiful.
They're beautiful.
Are these just potential bullets?
Yes. Yeah. Again,
There are bullets that are there that don't have information next to them because we're leaving the space papers to allow for additional information to go in there.
so we're looking for different
This is
additional information.
a draft of it because it allows everyone a visual of what the finished product will look like. The details of the content are pretty close to what we want it to be. There's more details than just to add, and that's what the committee will continue to add into it. Is that correct?
Yes.
I like what we have so far. I just love the floor plans. They're just beautiful. And again, we can sneak in a little more information. And again, we've got the proposed house look that we're, this looks really good. Thank you for all your work on this stuff. This is amazing. That's just my overall view, just from looking at it right off the top.
So I don't know if there's any information now you want to share, or if you want to take it back and look at it, let us know any comments. All comments are welcome.
You wanted to set a committee
I was thinking about that, but with the schedule, I think this is probably a low priority than some of these other ones.
I didn't know if you wanted this done before September's our
It would be nice if we could.
Okay, I'll do it, sure.
And I think we can technically squeeze that in the same date of the 26th. We can get watch
Our work is going to be very brief.
patrons and
That'd be great.
yes, for sure. So let's make that right after patrons. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the ideal is that was to have this done, to have all our beautiful things out there so that people can see them. This is
And this basically takes away the need to have those two legal size pages. It's just this.
Which we still have
Which we
some
still-
leftovers of, but
Still
I'm
do.
not planning to get any more printed for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is there a deadline when this would need to be printed in order to?
Well, we just need a little time to print it and fold it. So I guess if not, I think like one of the staff would.
I mean, if we get this complete on the 26th,
Right.
and then it's.
Well, if you guys could print it there, then our staff could fold it or.
And have
Yeah.
or September 13th.
How many
So
are
if
you
we-
gonna want printed? I think we had like 400 people come through Art Walk last year.
What hours were something? Or like paper?
We can, if you guys can print it at there, or at least, if you can get it to me before I leave, I can get it printed at Minuteman, like you
Sure,
normally
yeah.
would, and then just leave it for my staff to fold and have ready. It would be ideal, that way we don't have to like organize.
I
Can
think
we
that's
have
possible.
it, can we have it done by the 26th?
Yeah.
If we have it done by the
Yeah, on the
26th, is that
26th.
gonna give you
During
enough time?
committee
I can
meeting.
always
Yeah.
pick it up
Yeah.
for Minuteman too.
Yeah, that
Or
could be, like, if I
delivers
can at
it
least
to-
get it in, you might have to
Yes.
pick it up, but yeah.
I don't think it should
Great.
take long.
That's
We'll
what
make it
we'll-
work.
Yeah.
It's doable, great.
All right.
Okay.
What time did you set the meeting for room by room?
The room by room is after the patrons. Let's see, let me backtrack. Art walk starts at
26th.
9:30. Patron starts at 10:30. Goes to about 12:30 probably. Maybe make it 1 o'clock. Is that okay?
Would be, noon would be the start time for the booklet.
Do you need more than 2 hours for patrons?
We might.
10:30, 12:30.
Oh, I just assumed.
I would just stay up to until 12:30. That is, it is going to be a whole lot more
Yeah.
involved.
And how long do you need for booklet?
And I think
An hour bucks, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So basically
12:30 to 1:30.
12:30 to 1:30.
Is that fine with the house?
Oh, yeah. It's all, I mean, that's the day that you all have to be down here.
Yeah, we'll have
Yeah.
a screen down here and up anyway, so we can add it in and get it done on the spot.
Do you need the projector and screen, or do you just
Yeah, we're
want
gonna be
the
able,
TV
Projector
screen?
and screen.
projector and
Thank you.
screen, and we'll
Makes
just
it
set up
easier
here
on
and then
everybody's eyes.
Yeah.
That works.
then we can put it away and.
Would you, Jeff, would you like anyone to email you with any thoughts on this? If they're not going to be attending the committee, do you want emails from board members?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll encourage everyone to review this on your own time, and between now and the 26th, submit any thoughts or suggestions to Jeff, and then he can bring that to the committee meeting. We can incorporate all of that during that. Okay.
Can I make a note, just real quick
Yes.
right now? Just on the floor plan, naming of some of the rooms, we typically refer to this as the library. I don't know if
Yes,
you
we
wanna
do.
Keep that. And then,
Instead of an office?
Good.
and then one of the, like on the second floor is called a bathroom, and on the first floor is called a toilet. If you want to have that be bathroom for both, or.
Yeah, I was debating that.
Yeah. I don't know, toilet sounds.
But it fits really good in that space.
Exactly
You could put something WC.
That's what I was just gonna
WC is
say,
for water
yeah.
closet.
Yeah.
And
Water
it's a
closet,
closet, so you
yeah.
put WC, and it's
For
water
both,
closet.
yeah, I
No,
would
for,
maybe
no,
do
for
that.
the, no, for the water closet is this little bathroom down here, because it is not a bathroom.
Right.
Oh, 'cause
It's
yeah,
a toilet.
yeah, yeah.
So that's water
Okay.
closet. And upstairs is bathroom.
Okay, so leave it, so library and
WC.
and leave the Vince in.
Good.
Excellent job, Jeff.
Thank you for that insight, Brittany, I appreciate it. WC.
Yeah, I like it. I was going for the French.
Okay, so that wraps up what we're doing for room by room at this time. Moving on to faulty. Maureen and I did get together, put together revised language for this year. It is based off of kind of the roots of the prior years of language for the invitation. We are still fleshing out the last little details of it, and then should be able to send that out. What I'd ask is that we're not going to be able to meet with the whole board between now and the time that we have to send these out. So is it acceptable that when we have it complete, we'll email it to everyone, and then you email back any edits or something, and we can do that and get it complete electronically and swiftly, because we're now at a point where we need to be emailing these out very soon, definitely before the end of this month, because our RSVP date is the September 26th.
26th or 26th or 27th? Sorry.
Okay. Whatever the Friday before, we'll
27th.
double check, but anyway.
26th.
It's
Is it the 26th?
It's
It's a
Friday, yeah.
It's okay, it's the 26th, but it's okay. But we're gonna be asking people to get back to us by September 26th with who and who all is attending the group. And of course, I can include in the email just the brief list of the groups that we're inviting. But I can tell you really quickly, past and present board members, past and present house managers, past and house city liaison, city council members, city staff as needed. And Longmont Historic Preservation Commission, Museum Advisory Board, museum employees, Eric Mason, who's the director, and Elizabeth Bodwin, the curator of history, Friends of the Longmont Museum, Visit Longmont, Longmont Chamber of Commerce, Latino Chamber of Commerce, Sacred Historical Society, East and West Side Historic Neighborhoods, and Stephanie, who owns
Melanie.
Historic Home across the street, 719 Third Avenue.
Spoke, I met her.
Yeah. So that's our group list, and if you think of anyone, I guess email it to me.
What is your assumed attendance?
Well, that's going to be a good question. We don't know.
Yeah.
And so the good news is as I'm receiving RSVPs, I will start to tally up and tell everyone, okay, we're at this number, okay, we're at this number. Last year, we planned to feed 25 people. We planned seating for 20, and we could have added seating last minute if needed, but we planned food for 25 people. So this year, we will see.
Okay.
Then the
Other
other,
seat 72. So
yeah.
There we go.
I mean, just keeping in mind that if there are more than, if we use this table, we can seat 44 downstairs. If there are more than that, then some people will have to be upstairs.
Which we can do. We can do whatever we need to do to accommodate.
Or
everyone,
even,
because
I mean, you could add tables on the porch, whatever.
We'll figure it out.
I guess my question at this point, it sounds like I should plan on 2 staff though to work that event. If we're planning on more
Yes,
than
yeah.
30 people,
Yes.
then yeah. Okay.
If that's what you choose, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we
So-
definitely need.
So so again, we'll be getting updates of numbers as it goes
And
along.
the board is planning to provide food again, or?
This is the way we see this. The food will be the same as last year, but the cost will be covered by the Callahan House. And preparation of the food will be done by board members under Chef Maureen's direction, as we did last year. But the cost should not be borne or on the backs of the volunteers who are volunteers doing the work. And so it's really necessary that cost be covered by Callahan House. Now, to put cost perspective out there, it's last year Maureen individually spent about $200 on her own with food ingredients and things to prepare the foods that she was doing. And then the other people involved in food prep were Candy did cupcakes, I did fruit kebabs, Cindy did mini quiches, and Karen Reed did turkey cranberry sandwiches. And then I just kind of ballparked it and figured among the 4 of us, somewhere around the $100 mark. So thinking about $300 was about what was spent last year for to cover 25 people. It's $12 per person. So that's pretty reasonable because we're doing the work. But the cost really needs to be provided for by the house.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I was trying to think what the best way to
To pay,
because
re-
if
to
you all
reimburse.
you'll do the shopping, right? Would we do a
There's a-
reimbursement or?
Yeah, there's a way to do that.
Because it's
it's been,
not a
there's a way to do
regular
it.
staff
yeah.
reimbursement, right?
No.
Like, okay.
But there is a way to do that. That's those small amounts like that. Yeah, well,
Okay,
So
so
between now and
long
next
as we
month,
save
we'll get that
receipts
figured out.
and return receipts to you,
100%. Yeah.
then, okay, grand. It's just, we're just trying to figure out,
Can you send the petty cash forms? That's what I was wondering. We can give them assurance that there's more to deal with that.
I don't know,
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Figure it out, we'll talk about it next month.
but I know there's a mechanism to do
But,
that.
but yeah. So are we all okay with that? Okay, I'll send an email out to you all with the final language that we put together for the invitations for your approval, electronic, and then we'll get those sent out. And if you think of anyone else that I didn't list, and you think that, and think on this scale. Our purpose is to try and do a little bit more outreach to our community, specifically Chamber of Commerce being business focused, Visit Longmont being able to advise visitors coming to Longmont, the city of Longmont, the Historic Preservation Commission. So like-minded and historic preservation and restoration focused is kind of our invitee ideal list.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about like last year we invited Rachel. She messed up her schedule and she didn't come, but I'm just thinking about like highlighting somebody that's helped with like a special project,
Yes,
maybe
yes.
like LTM. I
If
don't
you
know.
would be
Yes.
able to
Just
take
at that point, I don't know if we'll have, or maybe they're better for next year after we have some more of that project done. I don't know, just something.
It's up
No,
to you. If you'd
along
like to
those
put together
lines.
a list and email that to me, I would love to.
Rachel,
Well, I'm just thinking of them
Yes.
specifically.
Yes.
Like, or maybe, yeah, so maybe that's better for next year after we have that project a little bit further along, but yeah, maybe. So that we can show like, here's what they helped us do rather than here's what they're gonna help us do. I don't know.
However you see that being the best approach, let's go with it. So you
But
decide,
definitely
email
we
me
want
what you
Rachel
think.
to come. That's one of those things, so we'll just solve the problem.
Well, I think that's my thought is that there's sort of like a highlighted person
Yeah.
each year that helped with the project. I think that was last year. And
Hers was the branding last
Yes.
year.
Yeah.
And she knew about it and was planning to come, but
she just makes up her schedule. And,
anyway.
yeah.
So,
But I think that
if you
was.
think of anyone like that, please email me
Okay.
and decide otherwise without the owner. Do that. Okay. So let's move along. We are getting really tight on time. Is everyone okay if we need to extend our meeting just slightly?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's, then on to holiday decorating. Now, Candy, back to you about this.
Okay, so we met and discussed our theme, and we have a gajillion million different ideas, strictly sticking to the Victorian look. And so what we were all charged to do was to go home and look at some of our stuff and see what would work for that kind of a theme. And we also came up with some ideas for making some decorations. So, and another thing, there's, I have an email out to a lady who has, I don't know what I want to say, big, huge garage sale that's set up in the old flour mill.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm waiting to hear back from her because people put consignment, their items in for consignment.
And there's a lot
So
of
there's
Christmas
a lot
stuff.
of Christmas stuff there. So anyway, that's one place we could go looking. So my thought was that we would first scan our things and bring together our items and bring them here to look at them and see what will work, what we have, what we can do. And we have ideas for different trees and different rooms too. And so if you have anything to contribute, if you're not on the committee, please help contribute. Or if you see something, call us and let us know there's a bargain somewhere. But anyway, that was the thought, to bring all of our stuff here, take a look at it, and then store it in the attic. We know what's in the attic from last year, what we can reuse or what we can add to or whatever. But if we get it all massed here, then it's all stored and ready for us. Because right before we decorate, we'll pull it out and put it together in the right area. And then I had a brilliant idea at 4:30 this morning that we ask our clubs to find 3, 4, 5 of their members that would come and help us decorate. And so like PEO, 3 PEO chapters, they could each decorate a different tree. And so there would be like a sign that says this tree decorated by chapter M big deal or
I
whatever.
thought that's what we
Lovely.
discussed at the meeting, and that's why I've already roped in my questers to help.
Well, I think-
And also, we need people to
Yes,
babysit
that's-
the rooms.
exactly. That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I hadn't thought about the clubs specifically that are here. I mean, yes, you belong to Questers, but
Right.
I was thinking in terms of friends, which is fine too. But it would be kind of fun to offer that to the clubs to do as well.
It's
And,
a lovely thought because it is a way for clubs to give back to
Yes.
the house.
Yeah, but it has to be under our guidance because we have to have a plan and say, here's the stuff we want on this tree and use it all because Victorian is like over the top. And so anyway, we would have to be organized and be able to say, here's what you're going to do and here's what you're going to put on that tree. The other thing was I had asked about a budget, and I know we don't have one at the moment, but we were wondering about specific things, like we wanted to put a whole lot of nice garland with lights on the staircase, and so things like that. Maybe we might perhaps find some money for a big purchase that would be something we would use every year, rather than a lot of the stuff we're going to use is like loaned. She would like a lot of her stuff back. Some of it I'm getting rid of. I think.
So depending on the plan for future years, I'm just to say this, what all is, coming in for this event, we're not necessarily going to store everything.
No.
Okay.
Not permanently,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
No. But if you're wanting this house to be decorated Victorian, this is a good chance to
Yeah.
replace some of that stuff that isn't,
Yeah. Okay.
or
Perfect.
add to.
Yeah. I just don't want people to just offload.
No,
it, just
bring
so
yours.
you know.
No.
I believe the idea is that going forward, Victorian is kind of the general thing that we're
Yeah.
going to stick with anyway. And
Yeah.
so what Candy's proposing is very reasonable.
Yeah.
Or like we talked about lights that are the candles.
Mhm, like
And there are some that aren't real candles, but that would be an investment that we
we
would.
can use some of our supply budget, for some of this. We just can't go super nuts.
Bless you.
but-
Okay. So would you like to be the one responsible for choosing the garland?
No.
Or do we, would you like us to choose that?
You can choose the garland, obviously keeping in mind protection of the wood and mess and debris and things, which is why we chose what we chose. 2 years ago when we redid this room, the color and the aesthetic that kind of went along with that. So there's that gold garland that we've used the last couple of years, and we chose that for those reasons because it's not, damaging to the wood and creating mess. So those are my things. No glitter, no mess, please. And obviously, I don't have to tell you all about protecting the house.
So we want to look at that and see how we would
Attach it.
attach other things to it to make it more Victorian and
Mhm.
gaudy. I mean, obviously, Victorian was.
My other thing that I think we need, how soon did you want us to start decorating the house?
Well,
Not before Halloween.
no. My thought this morning was,
I learned that lesson last year. That's
my thought was that we do it probably the week before Thanksgiving.
people need more time because we can do it starting, at the beginning of November. So maybe that gives people more time to not be scrambling before Thanksgiving holiday.
So
Depending
do
on
we
what
wanna
people's
do
plans
like
are.
That's why I just need to early.
But we can
Is it too
start.
much to ask to do it in the same week as the board meeting? In other words, board meeting would be on a Wednesday. We could either do the Tuesday or the Thursday.
It's going to take more than one day.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I think starting earlier. So as of November 1st, good to go.
Could we
but not
start
before Halloween.
on November 1st?
Well, I don't know
It's
what
a
day of the week
Saturday.
that is, but
That's a
it's
Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
Yeah. After.
Or the 3rd?
Yeah, you could start as early as the first weekday of November.
Which is
in
the
terms
3rd.
of the house. That's the 3rd.
I have a doctor's appointment at 10:30.
If we did that Tuesday or Thursday slot, that'd be the 4th.
Yeah, that might be better.
Let's do the 4th. It's election day, but.
Because that way, yeah, you've got, yeah,
Or
stay with Tuesday, Thursday. And then if we need to come back the next week,
We could do it.
go with Tuesday, Thursday again.
Well, I can't do
The next Tuesday is Veterans Day, just
And how long do you want like a 4-hour chunk of time? Do you want like an all day chunk of time?
all
6
day,
hours?
all day.
I'll block off the day.
So November 4th and 6th.
Start at 9:30.
9.
I'll be here till 9:30.
That's fine.
Okay, that's all right.
You can get organized.
9
take
to,
us a
let's say 9 to 4.
9 to 4.
But if we are really organized and we get the clubs to help, then it should go a lot faster.
And that's also, if we do start that early, that doesn't give the staff time to like, in the past, we've pulled out the trees and had those ready to go.
Mhm.
That doesn't give us time to do that. So if that's fine, if that can be part of, I can see if Jacqueline or whoever can also help and start like getting trees and stuff out that day, but they won't be out and ready to go like they normally are if we're starting that early. I just thought about that.
So what time
Are
do
they
you want?
available to do that on the 3rd? Can they pull them out on the 3rd? Is anything going on the 3rd?
I mean, it depends on their schedules. Normally, I was thinking like they would do it during a normal shift of theirs, like when they're here for clubs, they would work on something like that.
Well, here's
so
something
we
to
can
think
see
about, though.
what-
We're gonna have to pull all that stuff out and put it in piles. So that's gonna take time to do that.
So,
I mean, I think they,
for the 4th.
if they can be here on the 4th, they could start.
They can be doing that while
Jacqueline or
we're.
Betsy and I, whoever can start
Okay.
doing the trees while you all are organizing other stuff. I just want you to know, if you start on the 4th, the trees aren't gonna already be ready like they usually are. And,
Okay.
and that leads me to my next question is, are the trees gonna be the same as what they normally are?
Not necessarily.
Okay. So we need to do
Because we
that
talked about
collectively.
putting
That's
anyway.
part of what our meetings prior to that are gonna be.
Okay.
We have discussed putting larger trees like in the bridal suite and doing other things. We're going to do things differently. That's just what we've discussed.
So in light of that, I wanna set a meeting earlier,
Okay.
next meeting.
Okay, that would be,
And I'd like to do that either on September 2nd or the 9th.
I'm good for either one. So let's do the 2nd, sooner the better.
So like, since I'm not here, I have to make sure that we can
Oh.
staff these. But we'll tentatively put it in, I'll.
The
find stats
second's,
and let
the
you know.
second's okay for me to
Okay.
help. Just let me know what time. The 9th is harder, but the second's okay.
Okay, so September 2nd, 9.
Yes.
I'm out of town.
Oh,
I'm coming back the 4th.
okay.
Well, we'll put you to work again.
Cool. Yeah.
Because what else, also I'd like to establish is, or set up is a work day. How many of you've made roses already? Anybody?
I've got bags and I've been working on stuff.
How about, would you like to come work at my house one of the days? I'll figure out a day.
Certainly.
We can
We
just
can
sit
do
around and
that.
make roses and
We were gonna work on oranges.
do
and other things,
oranges
too.
and stuff like that.
I
So
need to
September 2nd
purchase
at 9.
oranges and start dehydrating.
Meeting.
We'll see if you can get a worker.
Okay.
How about Wednesday, September 3rd? Will that work for people to come to my house and do that?
Sorry, before we move forward on the 2nd, how long do you need that time, just so I can schedule staff for your meeting?
Let's do 9 to 11.
Okay.
I cannot work through the 3rd. I apologize.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll be going to that.
Anybody else? Third work for anybody? Nope, you're out of town. That's right.
When you back in town?
The 4th.
Well, let's do the 4th.
Well, Daisy gets back.
I know, I'm
That's
not
right,
coming
we're
here
at
for
the house on the 4th, never mind, sorry.
No, this will be at my house.
Yeah.
So, but I'll have to revisit. I'll get back to you. Got a work day, okay? The other thing, and this goes back to the next, we're gonna skip over summer open house and talk about Habitat Humanity gift of home. Because what I did find out, most of us know this because of the meeting we had, they're not going to put a vendor in this house. They are only going to do open house 4 to 8 p.m. on, I'm sorry. Yeah, December, what is it, the 5th? That Friday. Let me see here. Yeah, Friday the 5th. It'll be 4 to 8 p.m. And Saturday the 6th will be 10 to 2. And again, we want to bring in our groups that we belong to serve as hostesses, because there needs to be someone in each of the rooms or thereabout with 2-hour shifts. So we'll be needing to get that all organized too. And we also need to think about the flow of traffic through the house, because you'll have people coming in the front door and you want them to go upstairs and then back down, so that's going to be a bottleneck. We need to work on that. And then you want them to tour down here, and you want them to exit probably through this door right here or off the office.
We're
So
thinking
that they can
the
read.
There's probably this door here, because if anyone needs wheelchair access, they're going to need to go out that door and not that door.
But how do we get them to how about if they don't need wheelchair access? If they do, we could shift them that way, but if not, we could shift them the other way, and then we have the auto house, because we were talked about, we were gonna decorate the auto house.
They usually
as well.
tend to advertise that it's not wheelchair accessible.
Okay.
Most homes aren't.
Okay.
So they usually,
Just wanted to.
Do we want to use the back stair? I remember a couple years ago when it was really busy for the holiday open house, we allowed people to use the back stairs because
I wondered about
we
that.
had to. So you could have an up and a down and just block off the kitchen like we, used to do. Space isn't pretty, so I usually just close off this whole thing, but we could.
Actually, people love seeing that space.
Yeah,
I know they do.
Mother's pantry is cool. Yeah, people like it. So I think you could just do that, block off the kitchen.
Yeah.
And then have people come out this way.
Oh, I think that would be great if we
I think we'll
could.
probably have to, just based on the amount of people.
Yeah.
coming.
this is going to be bottleneck enough as it is.
So my recommendation, and of course it's needed under there, but I think we go out the library door and then we send them to the auto house
That's
and then divert them
Yeah.
out
The
from
driveway.
there.
Okay. That's what I was thinking as
So is that
well.
how the other houses, usually there's like a IKEA style flow of traffic?
Yeah.
Like you want people to go specifically and not just
Growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And your office can be closed off. We can
Yeah.
close off rooms
Yeah.
that they don't have to go into.
The other houses that there's normally a seat out front where people can put baggies on their shoes. And then they come in, they tour, and I think that the flow is to start here. They can see the parlor, start them upstairs, come in, come down, start here, go to this room, and then out, and then to the auto house.
Yeah. But that helps to know we can use that backstairs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we
That will
should, yeah.
alleviate some of that.
And then they can remove their booties.
Yeah.
And we have another placement of a chair.
Mhm.
They can sit down, take off their booties, and put them in the basket.
And then they won't wear them into the auto house.
Yes.
Fine.
So, and then the other thing is, there's usually a brochure that's put together that's handed out, and that's usually done by Habitat. And so we'll have to come up, I don't know the details, but we'll have to come up with a little blurb or something about the house and stuff. So I'll let you know when I find out about that.
Can we just,
It'll be something I can take from this.
well, can't we
Can we
just
just use this
use
for
that?
it? Or what information?
It's a brochure they put together with all the houses listed.
So all the houses
So
will be
should we
listed
get
on.
that from Habitat then? Can
Habitat
provide
does.
us with
Habitat
that?
will do
They
Okay.
do that. But we'll provide the write-up that we
We've got to
want
do the write-up.
in there.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you say something?
I think that you answered what my question was.
Okay.
And they're gonna let people know that there's nothing being sold here. I don't know if people would be disappointed by that, or people need that message ahead of time. That we do. Okay.
Nothing's going to be sold, but is it allowable that we do a
Yes.
donation box
Sure.
so people can donate to the house?
Sure. And I'm sure we can put our stuff out if we want.
You did say that we could. right?
Oh, yeah.
He did, yeah. And also he did say that they want a little area or corner where they can put up some of the habitat information too.
Okay. Maybe upstairs somewhere or wherever, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Anyway,
Great.
That's-
Thanks, Candy.
I'm very excited about it. Very excited. Now you guys have been teasing that I just need to get you all and bring everything over, but I'm not sure how to go about doing this. So if I take pictures and then bring stuff, or
I would do that, Maureen. Yeah.
How about everyone can go to your house and just look at all your stuff?
Love a home tour at Maureen.
Well, I do know that I've got some really one of the artists from Clusters that does dolls is willing to come in and she's willing to bring something else.
So on September 2nd, at our meeting,
Yes.
please bring what you have.
Or photos.
For you. A photo. A photo would be fine.
Go ahead, laugh. Whatever. It is what it is.
Photos.
This is a good thing.
So Sean's like, what are we going to be decorating our house with? I said, I have no idea.
So that wraps up the holiday decoration portion, is that right, Candy? We good? Okay, all right then. We'll move on to the summer open house debrief.
Just real quickly, I'll share the numbers from that. So we had 54 in attendance, which was, a bit lower than expected. I know, yeah, usually the summer open house is busier than April. In April, we had 107. Last year, this summer open house, we had 150, so I was kind of shooting for like 200 maybe, but 54 people for whatever reason. I think, summer is busy, there's a lot going on. There's Thursday nights, activities in a lot of places, so maybe something to think about for next year. Although historically it's never been an issue, but anyhow, and all the same marketing went out that we always do, so can't chalk it up to that. But it was pretty even between the first and second hours, 28 people in the first hour, 26 in the second hour. We did receive $50 in donations, got 10 new emails, and sold one of the photo prints for $35.
Excellent.
So I will say that a lot of people that came, I was at the door and I asked just about everybody if they'd been here before, and most people had not. So I do think that even though there weren't many people, I think we were reaching a new audience, which is a good thing. So there's that.
Stuns me.
And I might suggest for future years, because we have the spring on a Thursday, that works nicely. But for summer, I think we might want to move it to a Tuesday night.
Okay.
Because we have competing events, there's concerts,
Yeah.
and fun stuff outside going on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So maybe the summer should be on Tuesday night.
Sure, yeah, I think something like that might be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thinking forward.
cool.
Thanks. Sure. Does that cover everything?
That covers everything.
All right. We'll move on to Habitat for Humanity Gift of Home Tour. Unless you have anything to update, I think, Candy, you covered that.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So then if there's nothing.
Well, I have a quick question. How are we going to advertise?
Like I said, I did talk to Chris about that, and he said we can do our normal marketing. Obviously, we want to connect with them and make sure that that's a cohesive effort. But I think we're going to do our usual marketing. So the brochure, chamber visit, LDDA, and then the emails and stuff that go out, city line.
But we do have to
contact. Make sure that we're sending out the right messaging
about the cost.
Yes.
Because normally it's free.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah. But yeah, Chris did confirm that we can do our normal marketing as long as we understand what messaging is, kind of approved.
So
for
the
Habitat.
registration has to go through Habitat for Humanity.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then are we going to do that in also in
Could be the winter brochure.
the winter brochure, but as well as the city,
City line is the utilities.
the utilities. That's what I'm
line.
thinking.
City line, yeah, that's that one. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, those are our usual modes of marketing that we'll utilize, and then we'll have the dual marketing for Habitat also. So those
because
are-
there's a definite website that you go to for purchasing
Yeah.
tickets.
When does Habitat open up their registration? Should we ask that the city be prepared to move simultaneously when Habitat's opening the registration, that you put something out in
Yeah, we definitely want to be aligned with
at about that
what
time.
they're doing,
So
so.
that even if it's a little early, it's still aligned with their timing, and we're getting the message out as soon as they have.
Yeah.
I think it should be very clear that we are participating in Habitat's program. It's not our program.
Yeah.
We've changed this
It's a
year to
specialty
support
area,
Habitat
yeah.
stuff. So it really means very clear that we're part of their
Event.
event
Yeah.
and not ours.
Yeah.
And they do sell tickets. There's more than just registration, selling tickets. So
Yes.
it's gotta be very clear that we're participating in that. All funds, we and all funds support Habitat.
And tickets can be purchased at the door too.
Okay,
Right.
well, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Depending on where you start, if you don't have a ticket, you can get a ticket.
Are they still going to have, they're still going to have a Habitat person here helping to sell tickets and promote their aspect of things, or?
I would think so, but that's a very good question.
I think if they're selling tickets,
It's
they
kinda
would have
necessary.
Yeah.
to
Right.
provide
They
that,
need
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
They have like a point of sale or whatever, or maybe it's just online, but.
Again, it's their program, it's not ours, so they should
Yeah.
have people here. I'm sure they will. Greet people, check tickets, sell tickets,
And
and
we'll ask about
Talk a bit about
booties and
Habitat
all of that.
program.
What- Do
Yeah,
they
there's
provide all the
usually
booties and
Somebody's in charge of each of the houses, so
oh,
we'll
definitely.
make sure.
Make
who our point person is?
That's their
Yeah, we need to know
responsibility.
who the point person
And in
is.
this case, we'll just be background.
Does that cover everything for Habitat for Humanity?
Sorry, I jumped, but I just had to ask a question.
That's an excellent question. Okay. All right, we'll move on to new business, the formal garden. So, last we left off, as everyone could think through some ideas and thoughts or suggestions that they want to share regarding the garden. I don't know if anyone has anything prepared. If you do, I'd love to have you go ahead and share that. And if you don't, I do have a list that I've prepared.
I don't have a formal presentation, but I do want to state the formal gardens. It is my understanding that we made recommendations to what should be added to the gardens, not just as the only items in the gardens. So I know that Ann worked on a garden layout, but it was my understanding that when we approved it, that those were to be in addition to the regular plantings. Is that
I don't,
So-
I have it a little differently, but.
Yeah, for that year in particular, because we had so much interest in moving to the formal garden aesthetic, which is again a process that will take, a few years. We had Ann come and meet with the parks team and provide a very specific outline and order, and it was very in depth that year that what was provided, and that was meant to be for 2024. For various reasons, that was not able to take place, and so then they did utilize that information for this year. So it was actually a very, very specific outlined where things would go and exactly what would be in certain beds.
Then it
So
was a
I need
miscommunication
to share
on their part.
something then, because I actually talked with Ann.
Okay.
And asked her to explain to me what happened, and she shared the emails that went on between you and her and Karen Reed, as chairperson last year. And she was very specific in saying there was no absolute plan. She said what she did was meet with you and Ben at the Parks Department offsite.
And Ben.
It's the
And
park.
Ben.
And another Ben.
Both ends.
But
The two
at
beds.
another city building, the park facility conference room. And so it's in an email that you sent to Ann on October 12th of 2023 regarding the meeting that was to occur on October 27th of 2023 at that location. And then during, or just a little bit before that, she had put together a grouping of a series of photos. There are 5 pages. I've got them and I printed them out. 5 pages of 12 photos of the garden and examples of proper formal garden concrete order. And she emailed that to you October 18th for use during the October 27th meeting. And in the meeting, she said what it heard was talking about fixing the fountain as it was leaking. That led to discussion about removing the red bricks around it, creating a more formal border around the fountain. Discussion was about the leveling of the grass and identifying that it's a hazard. And also discussion about problems with the sprinkler system. Those were the things that she said were specifically addressed and talked about. Not that any formal plan was created by her or proposed by her, but simply pictures provided by her that show the Callahan gardens over the years. As you're probably familiar with these pictures, these are the ones where the car's out on the driveway, and it just shows how manicured and how tight and close to the ground all of the landscape was. And so her purpose of bringing that to everyone's attention is to show everyone this is what we need to be looking like. This is what the garden needs to be restored to, what it needs to be looking like. She also included through the years in 1960. Again, the garden's pretty clean. No border around the fountain. And again in 72, no border around the fountain. She's very clear about the fountain is its own centerpiece, and the bricks are detracting from it. It's a distraction, and it also is promoting interesting visual that is not in line with what a formal garden, and specifically that centerpiece of the fountain is supposed to be. And so she also included the pictures from 1977 when she worked there, sitting out on the fountain. And the border around that fountain is very clean, it's very clear. Then in 85, where there was some planting of things, very low level, low lying things around the fountain. And she was very specific to say nothing should go above the lip of the fountain, nothing. And she said that what she also shared were these two pictures for the purpose of showing what is acceptable if you're going to have planting around the fountain, and if you're going to do a border, it would need to be a concrete border and not bricks, and what it presently looked like at the time. And she said that's unacceptable. So that's the same. And then she shared the pictures of what does a formal concrete border look like. And this is her example. She provided this one too. It's a concrete border. It's a stamped one, but this one is the concrete border that she's saying this is really where we need to be with that fountain, if we need to have a border around the fountain at all. And so these were the things that she shared, and this is what you had printed out and taken to the meeting, and then this is what was provided. But she was very adamant and said, I didn't put together a plan. What I did later, or at a different time, is I walked the garden with Brittany and with Karen and put together what she says was a request or wish list for flowers. And she said that basically the request was for certain flowers around the fountain and the statues. And for example, she said sun patience around the fountain because they can handle full sun, and lantinas around the statues. So she said those are things that were right off the top of my head, very specific things that I suggested. And she said, I don't know whatever else they might have taken from that, but she said that you had taken some notes from your walk around with her, but
Yeah, so
I do know that the board never received any of that. And so there was no approval of that in 2013 or 2023, excuse me.
So what we did from, and also I want to understand the purpose in this conversation, but what we did was from the meeting with Ann and Karen, put together an outline and an order for parks and worked with them to finalize that as being the order for that year. And it was, and I'd have to look through and see where it was at, but it was submitted as part of the packet at some point that year, or gone over with the board at some point.
Packets. I tried to find it, there was not there.
That information was gone over at some point. Like this was something that was part of the board meetings, you know, for that year moving forward, and much more in depth than we normally would having these meetings with Ann and with parks. So what was submitted then at that point was an order for parks to go off of. And keeping in mind also, like, there is a certain budget for this. So all of the information that she provided and put together was enough to be a full order based on, a budget that's available for these things. But aside from that, I want to understand the purpose of this discussion. Is it because we're rehashing how this came to be at this point, or because we want to look at what we want, points that we want moving forward based on the garden? Because this is as close of a representation of what Anne and the board wanted from that year. There's some patients planted, like the flowers that were requested and the aesthetic that was requested is as close as we've been since that point. Last year it was what it was because that was, the order that could be received. So I want to understand the purpose of this conversation moving forward.
It is twofold. It is to clarify what did occur and to be moving forward with purpose for the garden going from here.
Mm-hmm.
To clarify, when you say the board approved it, that really didn't happen in the minutes.
Well, based on the recommendations and the requests of the board, that is what was used to inform the order and the garden aesthetic for this year. So whatever the exact process was.
I'm just going to hit the 3 high points of timelines. So September 13th is the first time that the 2024 flower order and garden grounds plan was on new business agenda. And during that meeting, in the minutes, it just states that flowers should be ordered by November. Brittany will ask for specific dates from parks. She will send an email inviting board to help her and Anne with planning. That's from that. And then the next thing that happened was the October, and those minutes came out in the November meeting. And in the November meeting, we have that in old business. And how it reads is under item K of old business, 2024 flower order garden or grounds plan. Anne said the garden is overgrown and declining. She said there should be some oversight of whether contractors have completed designated tasks. Anne suggested a journal or logbook be kept that details the board's expectations and reports on the work done. Board members agreed and added that there should be a long-term plan for the garden work, with milestones earmarked for each year. Ben suggested Anne attend this upcoming meeting with Brittany and another then. That's where it stopped. There was no further anything coming back to the board
Okay.
to approve.
And I'm sorry.
I just
what
want to
is-
clarify that.
Okay.
Because
But the
just
board's involvement
think-
in the order and the process for that year was pretty in-depth, whatever the exact process was, and that was what we have this year. So, and then last year, because that process wasn't able to be used in the previous year like was intended, we talked about giving parks and the gardening team a little more leeway to move forward in the way that they need to based on what annuals and whatnot can be acquired.
So if we have a deadline that Parks needs to have in order form, then if this needs to get together, right? To move forward instead of looking back at this point. As this item of new business, what do we need to get moving now so that we have the order for parks that you would like to see happen?
And keeping in mind that, as happened last year, they can do what they can do and they can get what they can get. So the specifics that were put forth in 2023 didn't happen in 2024, so they did happen this year. And I don't know, if that can happen again. The guidance from parks when that did happen over the last couple of years was that, they need a little more flexibility in getting what they can get, and it's going to be different from year to year. While the overall goal of moving forward, as I think we've made great lengths this year with the formal garden, is always going to be the baseline.
I think one of the big things that we do need to do is we need to cut back on certain areas.
And they've worked on that over the last couple of years.
Really trim back even further. I mean, there's things that have just gone a little out of the box, so to speak. And as far as trimming back to see the driveway and have it down further, they're just, some of the planting is just needs to be really cut back.
So here's a list, and it's concise, and I can email it to everyone as well. But I think we need to get bids from private companies to level the grass. It's time. We've talked about this previously. It needs to happen.
It will happen when it can happen, okay? We have it in our plans. We have money. We don't have money unless we want to pull out the fund, that Callahan House fund, which I don't think you guys wanted to use to do that. So we're going to look at it again next spring and see if we can get it done.
What's the
This
harm in
became a
getting
priority
bid?
this year, getting all of this done. And we didn't know how much it was going to cost. So
That's fine. That's fine. That
Okay.
aside, back to the garden. What's the harm in getting bids to level the lawn?
I have them. We had bids.
What's the range?
I think it was $30,000 to $40,000.
Can you share that with the board for next month, just so it will
I will
have
try
that
to track that
understanding?
down. That's
And just in the essence,
bold
One
at
way
this
or another,
point,
it's
but
either the city is able to do the work and level the lawn, or we need to contract.
the city won't likely not be able to do that.
Okay, then we know we need to be on track
And
of
that's-
contracting
Yep.
a private,
100%.
company to do that. So we need
I
to be,
agree.
that's going to be a very big, important piece. I think that anyone walking around in the garden out there, if you twist an ankle, fall over, smack your head on the concrete of something, guess what the city is going to have on their hands? A lawsuit. We don't want that. So, I'm going to move on the list. I think we need to remove the red bricks around the fountain and create a more formal concrete border. That very simple line, if a border is needed. We need to remove the red bricks around the statues, both of which were Anne's suggestions too, removing the bricks from the statue, from the fountain and the statues. She also mentioned we need to remove the red bricks near the sidewalk next to the ramp. They're heaving or shifting and tripping hazards, and they really don't complement the house well. And that's her input as well. We need to remove other bricks as needed. She did say that the west side, and when you all looked at it, and even now, seems as far as the away from the house, the west side, those bricks seem to be holding steady and holding that bed well. So I don't know if we want to leave those or not. Anyway, remove other red bricks as needed. If we've got red bricks out here, where the front entrance is, we get them out. And then we need to level any other remaining red bricks, make sure that nothing is a tripping hazard, nothing's looking like it's heaving. And we do have the name of the mason who did the sign out front, Scott Grubbs, and he would be able to do a formal concrete border around the fountain if it's needed. So we already have our expert who could do that. And we need to clear out overgrowth, specifically the snow on the mountain in the northwest corner, for example. It has grown so far out that it's taking away from lawn and walking space on the lawn out here. And it's just not a proper bed. The proper bed should be about 1 to 2 feet wide. That's over 5 feet. So Anne said, hey, I think I mentioned we should have a task force at some point. And she said, for a bi-weekly walk through the garden to identify where more fill-in or weeding is needed or attention to rose bushes, you'd like that. She chimed in on that. And Anne said she previously suggested this. So I think going forward, we need to implement that. We need some proper flowers in the bed around the sign. There was a little planting plan that Anne and I put together, and it was shot down. And so what I would suggest is we revisit that and consider that for the sign up front, because it does not look very good right now. then the bed and the border around the driveway, it's just way too wide. Very similar to this west corner. It's just way too much bed and way too much planting there. Too tall and too much, too thick. It's jungle-like. The bed should be about 1 to 2 feet wide. And plantings should be no taller than 2 feet. You don't want people standing in this side of the lawn trying to peer over the hedge, which seems like it's grown up to be, that basically is the column on each side of the driveway. So Anne had an excellent idea about this. She says, take those tall hydrangeas. You don't have to throw these things away. Take them and move them over to the wood fence on the east side of the property. That's what you want to cover. You want to cover the wood fence on the east side of the property. Put those things, take them out of the beds where they are now, replant them along there. It'll look much better. She said, you want to see, like any formal garden, and when you look up and you look and you see it's just immaculate, you're not looking over anything. You can see how precisely everything's planted and everything has its place and everything has its shape and its color and its size. And the size needs to be petite. So plantings should be no taller than 2 feet. And then she mentioned, how's the Virginia creeper around the statues? She said, I know that the beetles are going crazy on everything. If there's any concern about a vine, she suggested taking out any vine that beetles are attacking and go ahead and consider clematis. She has one of those in her lawn right next to a grapevine. The beetles are all over the grapevine, but not clemattis. It's a suggestion.
Is there clematis on one of the statues?
Something to know. So that's what she shared. She said, something to share. And basically, in a nutshell, we need to restore the garden. It needs to be a formal garden. We've meticulously cared for this house and maintained it, and we need to do the same for the garden. It needs to match the house. That it's meticulously cared for.
Okay.
So
I agree 100%.
How do we go about
100%.
how do we go about doing that?
There are
How about
resources.
implementing it?
We'll take those suggestions to Parks and see what they can do. I mean, that's the process. I agree, every single thing you said. And that was part of our discussion, cutting things back. They have cut back. We'd like to see more. I agree. I agree with everything you've said. Expecting to be a perfect garden here, it won't happen. I'm just being honest. The resources are not there. We don't have the resources to keep up to create a perfect formal garden like you're asking for. However, all of those things should be under consideration, and we should be working towards the lower level, all of those things. I mean, we agreed at that point. Parks agreed with that.
Is there some place that we can do community outreach to see if we can get some volunteers to work on that?
Yeah, professional landscapers, if they would be willing to donate their
Or volunteer their time?
their abilities to volunteer their time.
I'd put them in
to
touch
help
with Ben.
Bring this up.
I'd put them in touch with Ben to see if they want to do something like that. Sure. I don't know that. I mean, I'm not going to speak for Parks, but it sounds like a good idea.
If we could get somebody that, wants to volunteer some of their time to work on the gardens, that'd be willing to do that, that would be.
Are you looking for skilled professionals that
Yes,
know
I
what they're
would
doing?
look to skill.
Yeah.
So that's my
Yeah,
focus.
it needs to be.
So yeah, I mean,
Something that's not
we
just
had to take money
going
from the
in.
house fund to supplement the parks budget this year for the basic gardening. So yeah, if I would say the board wants to do some reach out to see if you can find volunteers, and then we can
You're going to
share
send that,
this.
right, Karen?
Yes, I will email
Okay,
this
good.
to everyone.
Yeah. So yeah, and Parks is
You're going
aware.
over here.
We've been talking about it for a couple of years. It's obviously not something that happens overnight, and given the limited resources, it's a slow process. But we can reiterate it with them again. I think it sounds like the brick work is a lot of it, and so focusing maybe on that over the next.
Well, we've had
Year or
a
two.
major change within Parks and Recreation, which
Yeah.
is Parks and Recreation now,
Yeah.
which it doesn't change anything on the day-to-day sort of basis, but we certainly hope over time that partnership will continue to grow and be as positive as it can be. Also, Ben is in the position that Timber Toski was. He left in January and Ben got in. So they've been through a lot of change this year too. But I've been working closely with Ben, feel really good about it. So yeah, I think there's reason to be optimistic. That being said, if you were in budget with them, it's brutal.
It's brutal right now for any budget process.
Yeah, it's what they're needing, what they're wanting, compared to what they're able to receive is, it's not close. It's not close.
Well,
So,
I think with
and I just,
community
that's just being
involvement, we can
truthful.
get it done.
What's that?
I think with community involvement, I think we can get it done.
Sure.
So I don't think that we have to continue.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, there's no
Yes,
like opposition to
revisit
this.
the
We're
rest.
just
Does
working
anybody
within the
else have
constraints
any
of
other
what we have
thoughts on this,
available.
by the way?
I hate to mention this, but is it an idea to develop a target committee
I think
that
it's a
could be
good plan.
spearheaded by some other people on the board that could work and also solicit interested individuals from the city who could help either design, planning, maintenance, and of course work directly with the city as far as what the city's providing.
Like I said, you're welcome to direct folks who are willing to invest time here, again, professionals. I would imagine we're willing to talk to them, and I will bring this up when I see those
Could
guys.
start with the Master Garden Program through CSU. It's exactly.
Okay. I'd like everyone to, for next month, this will be moved to all business, we're going to revisit it. I would like everyone for next month to just kind of, like what Candy just did, kind of do a little thinking of
Brainstorming.
who we could reach out to get additional support from, and just be able to come next month and share, oh, I thought of so-and-so. Not that you have to contact, not that you have to do any of that. Let's just brainstorm. Let's just bring our ideas back together and say, all right, who could we inquire with to see about getting this done?
Should we start with parks first to see what they feel like they can do and then where they need filling?
Well, I mean, you guys
I
are
just don't
welcome.
want to add another project in a committee
No,
right now.
We're
We have
really
a
busy.
lot. We are maxed out on committees right now.
I'd
I'm
rather
saying
not
this
see a
isn't
committee at
important,
this point. But
but let's
I
go
think
through the
that,
process.
I think the idea of have everybody think about maybe if there's somebody we could reach out to, that's great. And Kristen will be here next month, and by that time, we'll have talked to Parks whether that's okay. I don't know their business. It's not my business.
I don't want to
That's
step
all
on
I'm
any toes here, but it just seems like if we get some volunteers to help.
I
remove the
agree.
brick, or
We'll be able to get it done.
pull the snow on the mountain, cut back things, trim roses. Where can we get people
Yeah.
to help?
But yeah, let's don't go too far with the committee at this point. Let's talk with them. But the idea of getting folks who could help. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. All right, then, that concludes, my thoughts on Form Garden. Any others? Okay, all right. I'll email that out to everybody and we'll talk about it again next time. Okay, the annual events calendar. Now, this is not something that we have to discuss in detail or anything. It's just something that was not in the packet last month, but was handed out. And so I wanted to have it in the packet this month so everyone actually has this copy and you understand kind of generally the board hosted annual events calendar as it is. And it is something that we probably ought to revisit again in December, especially given that January will be kind of the first thing that we'll be doing something, but patrons is very quickly thereafter in February. So probably in December we should revisit this annual events calendar just for purposes of initial planning for January and February months.
So quick Santa visit. Are we doing the Santa visit this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and are we going to, who's spearheading the committee on that?
I don't think that
That's
we
gonna-
need a committee for that. We have a meeting set up with Sue Ellen to figure out a lottery, a different registration process for this year, which then we'll share with you. But other than the registration process, it's going to move
Forward,
just
very
the same as
quickly.
it normally is.
And we have that set to be
Verify.
on new business in September, so.
Okay, just
future
verifying.
agenda.
I think at that point, Crystal will have an update about the registration process, but otherwise nothing's changing with that.
Okay. Sorry, I just read it.
That's excellent. That, we will, that will be new business in September. So we'll put annual events calendar on for
December, you said?
Just for good,
Like under future for
just for
December.
good measure. Yeah, put it under future, but I'm thinking actually maybe November, just for good measure in case there's something that we need to be doing in advance of, yeah, so November, we'll do this in new business in November. But it will be listed on future agenda items, but we'll address it in November. All right, so that concludes new business. Items from staff?
Just a couple really quick updates. The trumpet line was removed from the back of the auto house. For the two Art in the Garden series, we made $740.34 in net revenue. Jamal is still working on connecting with PBS. He's been tossed around a lot. He's been connected with 4 or 5 different people and is having a hard time, moving forward with getting further than that, but he has been working on that. Maureen, if you want to reach out, you're welcome to. Seemingly there's been some shifting and things going on with the federal
Absolutely.
that's affecting that. So, but I also think we were kind of waiting to see about connecting with the museum. We could probably just go ahead and connect with them and not wait any longer on the PBS aspect, but if you want to reach out, you can. And then there's the wedding cost review, if anybody has questions, or we can look at that next month. I think it kind of speaks for itself. But
I have one quick question, and I'll cover it at what Mr. Hall. The amount that you have listed in here as the 2024, or you have the 2024 wedding pro cost, but then you have the wedding date, wedding revenue, and you have 2025 wedding revenue completely booked. So this $31,990 of 2025 wedding revenue completely booked is solely from Wedding Pro?
no, these are weddings. This is revenue from weddings that are completed and booked. So some of it is expected income from all weddings in 2025. So
I guess what I'm trying to get to is
yeah, I understand that you wanted to see like
what
which
is
ones
our
were
return
booked
on our
through
$12,588?
which ones were booked through
Yeah,
Wedding Pro.
what
That's
exactly, how much
that's
is
more in
return?
depth than I can really provide. So what is provided here is how much do we make from weddings, and this is gross revenue, and then how much are we spending in Wedding Pro, and the net revenue there is enough for me to see that it's successful, and either way we have to be at Wedding Pro to be competitive in the market.
That's it's
I'm not
not,
sure it's your measurement of the return.
it's
from
not
our investment.
optimal, but if you want to be in the wedding business, you have to be on there. I think it stinks because they basically have a monopoly at this point. But if you want to be in the wedding business, and they currently do, you have to be in those. That's how we understand the reality of it right now. Every wedding person goes through those sites, and they are all owned at the same group.
I asked my granddaughter. She did too.
My granddaughter's,
It's just
my
that-
granddaughter did too.
Again, I think it stinks. It's a lot of money. I don't feel like it's worth that much, but when it's the only avenue that actually gets the word out.
It's where the lion's share of our inquiries come from. And keep in mind that these two numbers, I'm looking at marketing paid last year and revenue from the next year.
Right,
So it's always an increase, but
it really is a matter of, if none of that wedding revenue was booked because they sought us out through Wedding Pro. What does
I
that
mean, if
tell
we
you?
lose Wedding Pro, we lose 90% of our inquiries. So regardless of where each specific,
But how many
regardless of each
inquiries are-
specific one that was booked through Wedding Pro or that wasn't,
But how many inquiries are converted to booking?
to be honest, this is enough information to provide. I'm not gonna go back and look through every inquiry where it came from and search for that over the past number of years and see which ones were.
Karen, if
I think
90,
going forward, it's good practice. We probably ought to pay
All of the
attention
inquiries
to-
are tracked.
Karen, if 90% of our inquiries are coming from there, then a large percentage of our weddings are coming from there. I mean, I think that's just logical.
If 90% off, we just don't
Is,
know.
I'm
Maybe.
curious if anyone else is interested in that minutia, that level of detail. I'm just curious to hear from someone else. I feel like Karen has spoken a lot, so I'm curious how someone else feels about. I mean, I sat for Brittany for an hour answering inquiries, and it wasn't even it was a small snippet of her time of just responding to blanket emails of, tell me how much your house costs, tell me how much your house costs. You know, it's a lot of work that Brittany is doing, so I'm just genuinely curious who else is invested in that information.
I'd be interested in knowing that also, but you are far much closer to what's going on, so I certainly will respect your opinions and your thoughts on that.
I mean, it is part of Brittany's job to turn those inquiries into bookings as best as she can. I mean, we can't make people book here regardless of where they found out about the house. That's at the mercy of the person getting married, and I don't think we can hold that over the house manager's head of saying,
They didn't book here just because they had.
regardless of where they found
Yeah.
us.
I mean, we have to be on Wedding Pro. What we have done is make efforts from our end to increase direct inquiries. And that, I have seen a big uptick in those since we did the rebranding, rebuilt the packages, made all of the upgrades to the venue, and have done that further marketing. I've seen more direct inquiries, so that's great. It still doesn't begin to touch the amount of inquiries that come in from Wedding Pro, but we can focus more on other avenues. We just had an ad out with Yellowstone. Like, we have to be on Wedding Pro, but we can also work on other avenues, which I have done over the past 2 years and have seen an increase in that.
Unfortunately, I kind of agree with Ben. It stinks for the cost, but that's how the brides are booking them, and I still think we have to be aware of the expense of what we're really achieving, and so. I know you find it irritating and we want to know details, but I think it's important that we track the details from this point forward.
The details are being tracked.
And then we know inquiry wise, but that's how they're booking. And
I track every single inquiry that I interact with. So if somebody wants to go back through the last 2 years of tracking and put together those numbers, you're welcome to. But an overall picture is what's been provided here, and I think we should celebrate that the net revenue is successful. So
Woohoo! It is something that we're pleased about. So it's just from a business perspective. I see,
Which is my
I see
perspective
financial focus, and I do think a simple question is almost as simple as when we ask people at the door, "Have you been to Callahan House?" When you're booking somebody, how'd you hear about us, by the way?
which is why every inquiry is tracked because it is important. So
It's like
Could we move forward? It's 12.
we are, and at this point, unless there's anything further from, does anyone from the board have anything? No. Okay, then at this point, we are at 12:19. Is there a meeting?
I move to adjourn.
Thank you, Diane. Is there a second?
A second.
All right, Julie seconds. Thank you. And everyone, all in capital? Yes, team.
Yeah.